Houston Astros bats as perseverance is paying off with memorable moments and late season victories. But the Good Time Express will be put to the test tonight against one of baseball's best pitchers. Can Obi and the Astros make some more September magic? Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's Game 2 of this three-game weekend series between the Astros and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby. We watched the Astros put together another good offensive game last night, beating the Angels 9-7, and that's something they're getting in a little rhythm about doing lately, Ash.
Club swing the bats very well. They've scored 6+ runs in 4 consecutive ball games. That's the winning streak now for the ball club after winning 3 straight in Seattle. Even Cody Clark got in the action. His first major league hit, reaction from the bench, everybody loving it. And you can see Cody has finally had the weight of the world come off his shoulders. But the other guys swung it very well. On top of that, they had a 6-run inning in helping them to defeat the Angels here in the first of 3. And Jose Altuve continues to be a big part of things. He leads the American League in hits during the month of September, but the grand slam from Matt Dominguez, huge swing in the ball game, his second grand slam of the year, helping to propel this team to victory.
One of the top pitchers in Angels history is Jared Weaver. He has never pitched against the Astros, and this will be number 1 tonight, Ash.
Jared Weaver's one of the really tough ones in all of Major League Baseball. He sets himself up in a tough way for right-hand hitters to begin everything. That big swing toward the third base side. Left-hand hitters should be able to see him, but right-hand hitters, it actually can get dangerous at times. Jared Weaver has had injury problems this year, back now, and the Angels are counting on him to re-step in as the ace of the staff.
And the Astros starting pitcher, Brett Oberholzer, will be the subject of Layla Rahimi's essay. We go to her right now.
Well, thanks very much, Bill. It hopefully won't be too bad of an essay, but a good topic at least. Brett Oberholzer has started his 7th game for the Astros, and the team has gone 5-2 in those games that he has started, this being his 8th coming up. Oberholzer continues to dazzle. In fact, he allowed just 1 run on 7 hits in 6 innings in the Astros' 2-1 loss to Oakland on September 7th. That was his last start. Oberholzer is pitching so well that his catcher, Carlos Corcoran, who is working with him tonight, says his combination of his fastball and his changeup is sneaky. He called it a lethal weapon, and you can see how he is keeping hitters off balance. His record, 4-2, and since he's been recalled, his ERA outstanding, 191. And his opponent average when runners are on base is actually lower than when the bases are empty. Bo Porter says Oberholzer is as observant of hitters in the dugout when he's not pitching as when he is on the mound. And it's that cerebral attitude which causes Obi to have success when he's pitching, or what we like to call overtime. Well, coming up, we will take a look at the bullpen as Bo Porter perhaps has named his closer, Josh Fields. Bill and Ellen will have more on Josh Fields from Minute Maid Park after the break.
Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Progressive. Visit progressive.com today. Inside Minute Maid Park, where it's game 2 of a 3-game series. In game 1, Josh Fields got save number 5 of the year in the 9-7 win. Ash.
And here in the month of September, he's starting to lock it down. He's becoming that guy that is the closer for the ball club. Blow-away fastball. He can throw it right over the hitter's bats. 3 saves in the 4 games here in the month. Last night, a couple of strikeouts in the 9th inning against the Angels. .063 is the batting average against Fields here in the month of September.
Coming up, Jose Altuve and the Astros go out after another win against the Angels. With their 4-game winning streak, they try to expand it with Oberholzer on the mound against Weaver in just a moment. Season, the Astros are 10-7 against the Angels, meaning they have already clinched the season series from the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. As the Angels take the field, their record will be 70-77. They won 15 of their last 21. The Astros are 7-5 in September, and with that 4-game winning streak we were talking about earlier, a lot of things have gone well for Bo Porter, Doug Brocail, and the Astros. They're 51-96 as they go after this one. And after this series, it's nothing but teams in contention on the Astros schedule for the rest of the season, Ash.
Coming up, the Cincinnati Reds for 3, the Indians for 4 in Cleveland, the Texas Rangers, who have been floundering, and then the New York Yankees. So it is a tough run to finish, but it's also one of those golden opportunities for the club.
Starting lineup now for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim begins with former Astro J.B. Shuck in left field, Eric Ibarz at shortstop, and Mike Trout in center field. Mark Trumbaugh's the first baseman. The DH is Howie Kendrick batting 5th. He's followed by right fielder Cole Calhoun, catcher Chris Iannetta, second baseman Grant Green, third baseman Andrew Romine.
On the mound for the Astros tonight, left-hander Brett Oberholzer, 23 years of age, 4-2, and boy has he pitched well. 2.65 the ERA. Took a loss his last time out, that at Oakland against the A's. 6 innings of 1-run baseball while striking out 5 and not walking a man, and he's been staying away from the walks. He has been really good in that category, and the right-hand hitters having a tough time. Defensively for Houston tonight, behind the plate, Carlos Corporan, the veteran. Around the infield, Brett Wallace, Marwin Gonzalez, Jonathan Villar, and Matt Dominguez. In the outfield, Trevor Crow in center. He's flanked by Jimmy Paredes and Mark Krause.
Here at Minute Maid Park, the Astros are 24-49 this season. This is Faith and Family Night. There will be a special concert after the game tonight. And before the game tomorrow, Astros players will be at some of the entrance gates meeting the fans as they come in. 294 for J.B. Shuck. Shuck has had an excellent year. There's strike one. He's gotten a lot of playing time with the injuries in the Angels outfield. That has added up to 391 at bats for J.B. Shuck. 88 degrees outside. There's a strike to Shuck, and quickly it's 0-2. And Oberholzer has a great walk to strikeout ratio. 7 walks, 35 strikeouts in 54 1/3 innings. Bouncer back to the pitcher. Obi turns it into out number 1. In the stretch by Wallace.
I think, Ronnie, the lack of walks issued by Oberholzer, very impressive. You get a youngster coming to the big leagues, maybe a bit unheralded, and he's come in and just doesn't put people on base, makes them work their way on, and his stuff has been quality.
Eric Ibar comes up next. Ibar has 7 doubles in September. That's tied for 3rd in the majors. A .270 batting average, 6 homers, 53 runs batted in. Earlier, Ash talked about how difficult Oberholzer has been against right-handed batters. Ibar puts it in the air, and back in center field, Trevor Crowe. 2 outs. Oh, 1 pitch out, number 2, and that brings up Mike Trout.
That ball apparently off the end of the bat a little bit, because when it was initially hit, I thought that ball had a little more juice than where it wound up.
Yep, it looked that way. Now Mike Trout, and he is really having another strong year. .334 batting average, 23 homers, 86 runs batted in, leads the league in runs scored with 102, leads the league in walks with 97. Just a magnificent season for Trout. Trout walked 3 times last night and was 0 for 2 in the game. So a lot of teams have been working around him. There's ball 1. Mark Trumbo hitting behind him. Trout has hit .328 against the Astros with a homer and 4 runs batted in. Problem with putting him on via a walk is that he can steal. He has 32 stolen bases.
Well, it's great when you get a reputation like Mike Trout has already picked up. That last pitch called out of the strike zone appeared to be right there at the knees.
Trout puts one in the air, and the right fielder is waiting for it. Jimmy Paredes underneath with a quick first inning for Oberholzer. Jared Weaver to the mound in a moment. Constructed a lineup beginning with Jonathan VR at shortstop, leading off. Jose Altuve is the designated hitter. Trevor Crowe's in center field. Brett Wallace at first base. Matt Dominguez at third. Carlos Corcoran in at the catcher position. It's Mark Krause in left field. Jimmy Paredes in right field. Marvin Gonzalez at second base.
On the mound for the Angels tonight, veteran right-hander Jared Weaver, at times one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's had some injuries this year. 9-8, .338 the fine ERA. Took a no decision last time out at Minnesota. 6 innings of 3-run ball. He's won 2 of his last 3 decisions. And right-handers, left-handers, just about equal in terms of difficulty against them this year. Overall, .238 that batting average.
Weaver's 30 years old, listed at 6'7". Jonathan Villar gets it going. Villar takes that pitch, and it's ball 1. Villar has put together a 7-game hitting streak. Batting average .291, including 1 homer and 8 runs batted in for Jonathan. .359 on base average. Weaver is tough, especially one would think for the first time for a hitter facing a guy with this type of delivery. He was a first-round pick in 04, the 12th player drafted that year. That's high for ball 3, and it's 3-0. Weaver's walked 35 in 141 innings.
Weaver will certainly throw that changeup. He's got a very unique landing spot with that crossfire on the third base side.
That's in for a strike. 3-1. He has a tremendous winning percentage, .649, with 111 wins and 60 losses for his career. He feathers that one in over the inside corner. That is the number 2 winning percentage among active pitchers with at least 100 decisions. Only Roy Halladay is better with a .660 winning percentage for his career. Grounded out to second. Gary Green on over to first. 1 out.
Defensively for the Angels behind Weaver this evening. Started from behind the plate. Chris Iannetta, veteran. Around the infield, Mark Trumbull. Grant Green at second base. Eric Ibar and Andrew Romine on the left side. In the outfield, Mike Trout in center. He's flanked by Cole Calhoun, who showed a big arm last night. And J.B. Shuck in right. In left, rather.
Mike Scioscia's season has been a difficult one. 3-time World Series champion in '81, '88 with the Dodgers, and in 2002 with the Angels. But the winning percentage for Scioscia's club is .476. That's 73 points down from the 2012 winning percentage of .549. Strike 1 to Jose Altuve.
Ronnie, this is not much of a fastball being shown by Weaver here this evening.
I was thinking the same thing.
There's that little cut version that he'll bring, but 87, 88 miles an hour so far on the heat.
Well, we have that as about his average fastball for this season. 87. 1 and 2. He might give the illusion that he's throwing harder with that delivery.
There was a time when I want to say he was in that 92 to 94 range, pretty steady.
I believe you're right.
But he was also one of the game's probably elite pitchers at the time.
That's a liner into left center field. Altuve continues to bang out the hits, as Ash mentioned earlier. He's the top hitter in the month of September in the major leagues.
24 hits now here in the month for Jose as he has gotten red hot. Pitch out over the plate. This is basically what Jose's been doing. Wherever the pitch happens to be, he goes with it. And last night, a couple of big swings, 3-run home run, driving it to left, also cranked a single to left field, but showing that he can turn on the baseball.
So now 24 hits in September. It was .418 for the month prior to that swing. Now Trevor Crowe, the batter. And he really gunned that. I don't know that he didn't throw harder to first than he's thrown a pitch in this game so far, Ash.
Just woke up the radar gun with that toss.
He really steamed that throw. Altuve with 35 steals has been caught 10 times. Trevor Crowe's been flying high as he's been in that lineup for quite a while now. And no reason to take him out. He's been very productive. There's a strike. .252 for the season. 1 homer, 12 runs batted in. That does not tell the recent story of Trevor Crowe, though. Had 3 more hits last night. Drove in 2. He's hit .333 in his last 14 games.
Swinging well from both sides of the plate.
Altuve was looking like he was leaning a little bit, and then Weaver stepped off. The Astros have scored 34 runs during their 4-game winning streak. They haven't had a 4-game winning streak since June of this year, the 12th through the 16th. The 34 runs, the best during a 4-game stretch for the Astros since 2010. But this is quite a test for them tonight with Weaver. And left-handed hitters are managing only a .232 average against Jared Weaver. Last year he was 20-5. Fly ball out into center field. Trout coming in. 2 outs for Weaver.
Really don't know what Weaver's doing with the pickoff throws to first base and all the concern in that direction with that very quick slide step to the plate. It's going to be near impossible to run on.
Weaver gets another base ball from Mark Wegner, the home plate umpire. And he'll turn his attention very soon to Brett Wallace. Wally at .228 has 12 homers, 32 runs batted in. Since mid-August, he's hit .273 with a .500 slugging percentage. He takes, and it's a breaking pitch for ball 1 with Matt Dominguez on deck.
I think one of the keys for hitters on a night like this, when you've got Jared Weaver on the hill and you kind of gear up and you figure you're facing one of the game's very top pitchers, and you realize early on he's not throwing hard, you've got to settle it down.
In your first at bat, if you're batting in the first inning of a game, are you keyed pretty high?
You can be, and I think the majority of the time the answer is yes. One of the things that I know it used to be able to help me a bit was to just think batting practice when a guy was throwing like this. Just tone it all the way down. Batting practice you go into, you don't get keyed up. You relax, you kind of have fun, swing the bat loosey-goosey. And I think that's what you do here. You see the baseball first before trying to react.
Two 2-0 to Wallace. Two balls, 1 strike for Weaver.
I don't know if Weaver calls this his changeup at about 81, 82, or if he's just kind of choking off a fastball, but taking 5-6 miles an hour off of what we've seen as his fastball tonight.
Weaver was born in Northridge, California, went to Long Beach State. Wallace is patient, and he's worked the count to 3-1. Weaver has never faced Atlanta, never faced his own team, the Angels. He's never faced Washington. Crosses Houston off the list of teams he's never faced. Foul back, and it's 3-2, and with 2 outs, Altuve will be running. He's an all-star in 2010, 2011. With that career record of 111 and 60, number 3 on the all-time Angel win list. Altuve goes, and it's ball. No, it's strike 3 on the delay call. Mark Wegner rings it up, and that ends the first inning with no runs a hit and a man left. No score after 1.
between the Angels and the Astros, and Jason Castro still out of the game and nursing the right knee where he had a cyst, and the catcher had an update today. Bo Porter told us before the game that he was reevaluated yesterday, and the doctors still want to give it a few more days before they determine what he should do based on his activity. But as we know, Bill and Alan, time is ticking down. We only have 15 games left to the season, so time is running out.
And if it does run out and he hasn't caught another game, that's going to be the way it is. Mark Trumbo takes ball one. I don't think there's a lot of urgency to getting him behind the plate again. 33 homers for Trumbo, 95 runs batted in, a .244 average.
Yeah, I think Layla nails it in leading to the thought that we may have seen the end of Jason Castro, at least as a catcher this year.
There are other options. It's not really necessary for him to squat behind the plate anymore this season. He probably would like to, but I don't know that he would be passionate about it. Liner, low bridging Oberholzer. Here's the pickup and the throw, and a good play there by Marwin Gonzalez. Got over to his right quickly.
I'll tell you what, Marwin Gonzalez, whether it's short or at second or at third, can be very slick with the leather. He's had his ups and downs, but the ups have been exceptional. Well, you don't expect a second baseman to come up with that ball that's just scorched by the ear of your pitcher.
No, sir. Do not. Howie Kendrick is the DH. Both he and Jose Altuve, usually the second baseman of their clubs, are DHing tonight. There's strike one to Kendrick. 302 is his current average. He has 11 bombs. He's driven in 47. Very fine hitter. Had 2 hits yesterday. Fouling that one back. It's an 0-2 count to Howie Kendrick. Oberholzer is 1-0 in one start against the Angels with a .450 ERA. He gave up 3 runs in 6 innings. He beat them in Anaheim August 18th. 1-2.
That's one of the reasons Obi has been so effective to this point. When he wants to miss just off an edge, he does that. Doesn't miss over the plate.
Well, that's been big, hasn't it, for him? He has not made costly mistakes. Trevor Crowe is way over in right center field on Kendrick. Fouls it back. Boy, that's a lot of real estate available out there in center and left center for Howie Kendrick, but he does go to right center quite often.
And because you have to bring your left fielder along with when the center fielder moves that far into right center, leaves a big gap down the left field side.
Well, it was surprising to see that target inside with the way they're stationed, but it's a ball.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You always want to pitch into the shift.
In the dirt, ball 3.
And that pitch so far here into the second inning, right there at the bottom of the knees area, not getting the strike call.
Oberholzer joined the rotation at the end of July on the 31st. He's made 7 starts. He's 4-2 with a 1.91 ERA. That's chopped to third base, and it's a fair ball. Long throw. Dominguez couldn't get much on it. He bounced it over there and got him.
That is a tough play. That second hop backs you up at third base. You know you've got to get rid of the baseball quickly, and that causes a lot of throws to not be on the money. So it puts the challenge there at first base on Brett Wallace, who makes a nice pick. This is that in-between hop. That's the tough one every first baseman will tell you about.
Well done by Wallace on that tough hop. Caught it around his left kneecap. Yeah, Dominguez really had to rush. Now Cole Calhoun is the batter. He made quite a throw to the plate from right field in last night's game. That was a double play throw to nail Crowe in the 7th inning at home plate, taking strike 1 there. Back to that Dominguez play, though, usually first baseman will tell the infielders, go ahead and throw it low, give me a chance to make a play. But if you throw it high, it's over my head and in the seats. You have no chance.
The other one that can be so tough on the first baseman is the throw on the home plate side of the bag where you're leaning into a runner. Some pretty horrific injuries have happened on that play.
Boy, those broken wrist type injuries. With the, was it Derek Lee had that with the metal plate and the screws in his left wrist because of a collision with a base runner.
Who was the Astros first baseman about 8-10 years ago? Howell?
Jack Howell.
Jack Howell.
Yeah.
Didn't he come up with that injury as well?
And Cliff Floyd had a terrible one with Montreal on a throw like that, playing first base.
Looks like a rather benign play, but with that runner charging the way he is at that last moment and you reach in, it can be tough.
It leaves you extremely vulnerable there. That's a late swing by Calhoun. He strikes out. That's number one. That's 6 straight retired by Oberholzer in a scoreless game.
Astros experience via computer, smartphone, or tablet. Get in-depth stats and join the social buzz. In-game live, only on csnhouston.com.
Scoreless through 1.5. Now we go to the bottom of the second inning, and it's Matt Dominguez on a 3-game hitting streak. He hit his second grand slam of the season last night, his 20th home run. Weaver misses. There is ball one. 243 for Matt Dominguez this season with 20 homers, 74 runs batted in. And gets a strike call there. Weaver has an even count at 1 ball, 1 strike. So Dominguez is the first Astro to hit 2 grand slams in a season since Carlos Lee did it in 2009. And that pitch is ball 2. Matt's hit some big home runs this year. But it seemed he was happier about Cody Clark's first major league hit than his own grand slam after that game.
You know which of the two I think he'll remember?
Cody?
I think the grand slam might be the memory.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, it was great to see the reaction of the teammates for Cody Clark. But I'll tell you what I have loved about Matt Dominguez is he is not coming up accidentally with these swings, because he's given himself that type of swing time and time again in big situations for the club. He's not scared. He is a guy that seems to have gained tons of confidence over the course of the year.
He shoots this one foul outside the left field line.
And that's the swing. Now, he didn't crush this baseball, got out in front a little bit. But when you give yourself that kind of swing time and time again, especially in big scenarios, that's when you've gotten over the hump, and not many players get over that hump.
He's 4th in runs batted in among all American League third basemen. Breaking pitch hit to center field. Trout waiting. And Trout takes care of out number 1. And Dominguez now is one of only 4 Houston third basemen to have a 20 home run season. Morgan Ensberg did it. Vinny Castilla and Doug Rader. Carlos Corpora next. Corp at 241 has 7 homers and 18 runs batted in for Carlos. Just returned from the disabled list on Monday. He's made 2 starts prior to tonight since coming back. And he was on that DL from August 20th through September 9th with a concussion he sustained at Texas. A foul ball off his mask. There is strike 1. 4 of Corp's last 5 homers have either given the Astros the lead or tied the game. This is his 41st start at catcher. Grounded to first. Trumbo has it. 2 down. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. 2 outs and it's Mark Krause now. By the way, Max Stassi continues to feel better. He has been on the concussion disabled list himself, and Bo Porter was saying tonight I'd like to see him catch a couple of games before the season ends. He DH'd before, so he hasn't even seen him catch at the major league level.
Watched him take batting practice today with the club, so that's a great sign.
Yes, it is. 206 for Mark Krause, 3 homers. He's driven in a dozen. Looking at ball 1. Krause came up with a pinch hit last night, and he currently sports a 5-game hitting streak. A major league high for him in his first season. Slow curve works for a strike, and that evens the count at 1-1 for Weaver.
I've had some games in the past watching Jared Weaver where I came away at the end of the night feeling like this guy was just simply overpowering. I can't see that being the case tonight.
No. Trout is going back into center field, headed way back up on Taos Hill, and turns and makes the grab. He maintained his balance for a long out number 3. And as he heads back toward the Angel dugout, it is a scoreless game through 2.
Is the final big and bright Friday night of the season. The Astros take on the New York Yankees at 7:10. Don't forget to stick around after the game for the best fireworks show in town, presented by Marathon Oil Corporation, featuring featuring the top songs of 2013. Bill and Alan, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com for tickets. Did we ever figure out what the top songs were?
Well, Ash has been researching that for many hours since that last came up.
Well, Katy Perry was at the top of the list that I saw. I can't tell you what. But what was the big song she's had here recently?
You mentioned it, but it is.
I believe it's Roar.
That was it.
That's
yes,
it.
Roar.
Nice going.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
Yeah, we listen to it all the time. We just keep forgetting the name.
Mm-hmm. It's on his iPod.
Of course, I'm always borrowing yours, and you've got the top stuff going on.
What were the other candidates?
Well, Layla nailed what turned out to be number 2 on the Billboard charts that I was looking at.
Blurred lines, yes.
Blurred lines, all right. Chris Iannetta batting, by the way, while we talk music. It's a 1-1 count. Iannetta with a .228 average, has 10 homers, 36 runs batted in. What other candidates can you come up with, Layla?
Off the top of my head, oh, that's hard. What do you think?
I think Night Train. There's a fly ball deep to left field. Krause is back. Krause is backing off the wall now to take a look at it, and that's a home run. Chris Iannetta hits number 11, and it's 1-0 Angels. So Iannetta driving in his 37th of the year. Gives Weaver a 1-0 lead here with that leadoff bomb in the third. It's the 21st homer the Angels have hit against Astros pitching.
Yeah, you can see that pitch in a great hitting zone out over the plate, up above, probably about belt high, and kind of right in that zone you work on in batting practice a good deal.
Iannetta also homered last night, had a double and was hit by a pitch. Grant Green takes that offering, and it's strike 1 to Green. So Iannetta puts his club in front. Green at .252 has a homer, driven in 14. Fouls that one back, and it's 0-2. Well, anyway, the top musical selections will be featured on that fireworks show with the Yankees. You know, just thinking ahead of that Yankees series, that's really going to be potentially a very interesting one if the Yankees are still in the race. That's a strikeout looking. Strikeout number 2 for Oberholzer.
If you're a big music star, can you hit 300 in the music world and be successful? Is that fine?
I don't think that works.
No?
No. Now, will the Yankees be headed for the playoffs when they're here in 2 weeks, Ash? Yay or nay?
Well, it's been up and down of late for the Yankees. No question about that. The Indians seem to be the team that might push into that top pair of teams. The Texas Rangers sure are not showing a lot of promise in recent times.
.233 for Andrew Romine. He's driven in 5. Had 2 runs batted in last night. Now smacks a single to right field. Romine is starting what could be a very big weekend for him. Hit number 2 for the Angels. And Shuck will be the batter.
I don't know. The Yankees are minus Derek Jeter now again, and it just feels like one of those years that was maybe not meant to be.
CC Sabathia has had his struggles this year. Phil Hughes has had a hard time. And Ichiro does not have compelling numbers offensively.
Yeah, you wonder, where do the Yankees go from here? They've gotten old. The numbers have fallen down, and injuries have just taken over.
That's fouled away by Shuck. Well, literally where they go from here after September 29th might be back to the Bronx and then headed for vacation.
Yeah, that's unusual for guys in pinstripes.
Very rarely happened in the last 15 years.
Might be a better option than the way things went last year in the postseason.
Time was called before that pitch by Oberholzer. Still are a number of possibilities, but the folks up in Arlington, Texas have to be gripping a little bit based on developments this weekend.
Texas Rangers fans, players, management cannot be happy.
They lost today to Oakland 1-0 in Arlington to fall 5.5 games back of the A's, and that's a 5-game losing streak for the Rangers.
You know what's unbelievable is that with all of that, the Texas Rangers are still on top in the wild card chase.
It really is.
Texas and Tampa Bay, the two clubs in right now, but the Indians a game and a half back. And as you talk about the Yanks, 2.5. Baltimore has been sliding. They're 3.
It's 1-1. So 2 weeks of exciting baseball to come in these races. 2 weeks from tomorrow, it all wraps up in the regular season. Bartolo Colon got his 16th win today for Oakland, beating Yu Darvish in Texas. Colon 16-6, Darvish 12-9. Grant Balfour got his 38th save. Strike to shock makes it 1-2, and Oakland made a first inning run hold up. A 1-0 win. Pretty amazing in that hitter's ballpark. Amazing is a good word to describe Colon's year. 16-6 with an ERA of 2.73. Throw over to first by Oberholzer. Darvish struck out 10 today in his 7 innings. And Brandon Moss had the only RBI in that game. That was on a first inning double. Scoring Josh Donaldson. Boy, Donaldson's had a heck of a year, Ash.
Hitting just over the 300 mark, driving in runs. Played a fine third base. Yeah, he's been exceptional. But you look at the Oakland A's, or I should say for myself, when I look at the Oakland A's, I think good ball club, but I don't think top echelon club.
Right.
Although when you watch them play day in, day out, they play like a top team. Bartolo Colon, if he wasn't having this kind of big year, where would the A's be? And you kind of have to make that comment throughout the lineup.
Bouncer goes foul. So would Colon be the game 1 starter, do you think? Jared Parker is having an excellent year too, but they don't really have that standout number 1 guy, do they, for a playoff series?
Might depend on the weather. It might be Sonny Gray. Yeah, you know, it's an intriguing starting rotation, no question about it. But Bartolo Colon has been kind of the big guy when it's all said and done.
Yeah. I guess you'd have to go with him based on the season he's had and with his pedigree and his resume and his seasoning down through the years. Chopper slowly hit out towards second. Marwin Gonzalez, quick throw. Boy, that is one thing that he has shown since he came to the Astros last year. He can get that ball in and out of his glove as fast as just about anybody around.
He's slick. There is no question about it. And I might be one of the few people that probably says this from early on in the year, but I thought he played overall a very nice shortstop. I grant that there were some errors, but the guy is very smooth. And I think if he could just polish it just a hair, he's got a chance of being a really good infielder.
Now with a runner at second, it's Ibar with 2 outs. Strike 1 to Ibar, who hit a fly ball to center field for a 1-pitch out.
That was the changeup that we talk about for Oberholzer that's so effective against right-hand hitters.
He's thrown a first pitch strike to 9 of the first 11 batters. 1-1. So that's how a guy winds up with 7 walks and 37 strikeouts in 57 innings. In the air, the right fielder moves in for it, Jimmy Paredes. And in the 3rd inning, the Iannetta leadoff homer means it's the Angels 1, the Astros 0.
Park. Time for the AT&T tweet of the game from the Houston Astros at Astros. Astros and NOV, that is National Oil Well Varco, opened newly renovated fields at Melrose Park this morning as part of the Community Leaders Program. That program is going to serve the Northside National Little League that has more than 225 children. They will use those youth ball grounds as a new home field. So nice to see those kids getting a new park to play in. Bill Brown, we have some news as well on the Astros Wall of Fame, as I understand.
Yes, we do. Jimmy Paredes bats. And the newest inductee into the Astros Wall of Honor is Rene Cardenas. Truly fitting that this longtime professional be inducted, and that is taking place this weekend. He was one of the original broadcasters, Spanish language broadcaster for the Houston Astros and the Colt 45s back in '62. Reed Ryan with his award there before the game tonight. Congratulations to Rene. 2 balls and a strike, and he tells the story, Layla, of being flown here. He was a Dodgers broadcaster at the time. Judge Hoffein's office called and asked if he wanted to interview here. And he was flown from Los Angeles to Houston. And he was staying in the old Shamrock Hilton Hotel, which Alan Ashby will remember.
Certainly do.
Very close to the Dome. And he was told to wait there until the judge had time to meet with him. He waited for 2 days and didn't hear anything. That's a strikeout, and it's number 2 of the night for Weaver. Finally, he went over to the Astrodome site, and he met with the judge. The judge was too busy building stadiums to meet with Rene, but finally he not only hired him on the spot, but said, oh, I don't have time to interview, so you'll have to hire your successor. And that's the way it started for Rene Cardenas.
Judge wasn't bowling at the time, I gather.
No, he was not bowling. Marwin Gonzalez looks at ball 1.
That was always one of the great stories about the Astrodome. It had the bowling alley up there for the judge.
4 homers, 14 runs batted in for Marwin. Marwin shoots one over shortstop out to left field. J.B. Shuck right there for out number 2. And Jonathan Villar will follow. Now, Rene's been a staple around here for many, many years. Weaver into a nice groove now. He came out not throwing hard at all. In fact, throwing pretty softly in the first inning, but was effective. He gave up an Altuve single with 1 out. Villar had grounded out earlier. Villar worked the count to 3-1 before hitting the ball on the ground to Gary Green. And pushes a bunt, but it's foul for strike 1.
I really believe one of the things that Jared Weaver does that sets him kind of apart from other pitchers is where he lands on that third base side of the hill. And you can see the distinct landing areas between the 2 pitchers on any given night that Weaver pitches. But it creates a different look. And that mark that's on the third base side is where Weaver lands. And it's just a different look. And I think on that every 5th day time you get a chance to see Weaver, you're still trying to figure out exactly where the ball's coming from.
Truly a different type arm angle. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And he's really changed his arm slot a few times down over the course of his career. He's had some shoulder tendonitis. That one heads for left field, and J.B. Shuck is out there in front of the big wall. Hauling it in for the 3rd out. Rene Cardenas has a special night going here at Minute Maid Park. 1-0 Angels.
Heritage Street Festival presented by State Farm on Saturday, September 28th. Come early for the free festival featuring live salsa music, don't challenge Bill Brown there, dancing, an autograph session, beer, and local food trucks. Astros-Yankees game tickets are available by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or at astros.com.
Brett Oberholzer throws, and there is Mike Trout taking strike one, 1-0 Angels. Trout hit a fly ball to right in the first inning. Moves back from that pitch. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Oberholzer has been the type who really attacks hitters. He'll move the ball in and out, try to claim that outside corner by moving the hitter back away from the plate. Shows a good knowledge of pitching.
He can actually accomplish what he tries to. And again, going back to, he gets ahead. When he does, he'll miss when he wants to, just off corners. Just makes life tough on hitters.
And just missing there. He falls behind Trout, 3-1. Cincinnati Reds are here starting Monday night for a 3-game series. Eric Bedard will come back to the rotation to start that game against the Reds Monday night at 7:10. Trout fouls it. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
There's a little more of that pitching right there. 3-1 count and a changeup. And he's able to push the count filled. So you utilize all the pitches in any given count, and that's a huge step forward.
Yankees lost at Boston today, 5-1. John Lester shut them down. Lester going to 14-8, beating CC Sabathia. He's 13-13. Breaking pitch, and that's a walk.
We talk about that pitch usage for Brett Oberholzer. See the way he'll go at things here this year. 62% of the time he'll throw the fastball, pretty predictable. But the way he mixes in the other pitches, change and curveball, it's growing. His last start dropped off on the fastball a bit and used the other pitches more. And I think probably as you get late in the season, that's the case, and you love to have the ability to throw those other pitches for strikes.
Mark Trumbo looks at ball 1. Trumbo grounded out to Marwin Gonzalez. CC Sabathia gave up 5 earned runs in 6 innings today. His ERA is 4.90 now. John Lester very sharp, giving up 3 hits and 1 run in his 8 innings. And Boston is cruising in the AL East. Boston had an 8.5 game lead over Tampa Bay coming into play today. Tampa Bay currently is leading 1-0 at Minnesota after 2.
I believe it was August 20th or 21st. Tampa Bay led by a couple of percentage points. And since then, I made the prediction that Tampa Bay would win that division, and it has been all Boston.
Trumbo swings and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Howie Kendrick on deck.
I believe I've heard that Joe Madden has filed a protest.
So you jinxed Tampa Bay. Jeff Blum jinxed Trevor Crow.
That is official.
Steve Sparks jinxed Jose Altuve.
Who have you been working on? You laying in the weeds?
Beware, beware. 1 and 2. Where's the target? 32 steals. He's been caught 7 times, 82% of the time. Mike Trout has been successful. 1 and 2 is not a running count. It could be a pitch out. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's a good reason why 1 and 2 oftentimes is not a good running count. Fastballs are thrown many times just off the outside corner. Great spot for catchers to throw with.
Trumbo has walked 47 times. And a swing and a foul tip for a strikeout takes care of out number one for Obi, his third punch out.
A lot of times when you've got a pitcher who shows up on the scene, has early success, as you see the strikeout of Trumbo, you ask yourself, what's this going to turn out like in the long term? And of course, we don't know long term yet for Brett Oberholzer. But what we've seen now in a good period of time to be able to watch what he does is a guy who knows how to pitch, who has what it takes.
He puts on a clinic. Howie Kendrick grounded out to Matt Dominguez. Just doesn't seem to get rattled, does he?
He doesn't. He's calm. But on top of that, you've got to be able to come through with what you're trying to accomplish. And Brett Oberholzer does it time and again.
There is strike one for him.
See, that's not just fastball down the middle of the plate and get ahead scenario where hitters start to jump on it. That's a very well-placed pitch.
Well, when he first came up with the Astros, he was used in relief. Starting seems to be his niche, though, certainly.
Not many teams looking for that fine young left-handed starter, are they?
No. Not many. Let's see. 30 to start with. You can eliminate maybe. Okay, about 28.
There you go. Well, I probably would stay at 30.
Stay at 30, okay.
Yeah. That's a pretty pricey commodity.
And he throws over to first on Trout. More of a likelihood that he would be running here with one out in the inning than with nobody out. So Oberholzer's strikeout to walk ratio is 4.43 to 1 as a starter. That's fourth in the American League since he moved to the rotation. Out of play, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Howie Kendrick. The Angels are 16-24 against southpaws this year.
Well, they were meant to be a lot better than that with a healthy Albert Pujols. There's Albert, bothered all year long with that plantar fasciitis.
A roller foul outside first.
Rumors had it that his knee was also bothering him. I don't know if that was true or not, but season ended early with the plantar fasciitis. That's a tough injury.
Yeah, it's difficult for that to heal when a guy's on his feet about 5, 6, 7 hours a day.
Bursting strides all the time, and yeah, it's just a tough one.
Do you ever have any of that problem?
I have since playing days, although I had a bit on the back of the heel during playing days, but it'll just shut you down.
We can wheel you in here to broadcast.
It happens daily. You just haven't been paying attention.
You can put your feet up if you like.
Not on my side of the desk.
1-2 for Obi. He's thrown 55 pitches, 36 for strikes. Paul Clemens and Jerome Williams do the pitching tomorrow at 1:10. A liner, and it's a fair ball into the left field corner. Here's Trout around third. He's being sent home, and he'll score easily to make it 2-0 on the RBI double by Kendrick. Trout is something to watch.
That might be one of the easiest sends in all of Major League Baseball for a third base coach. Mike Trout, when he gets it moving, and it doesn't take long for the big man, he is just flat flying. You have him at first base and hit a double to a corner. Mike Trout's going to score. Watch him coming around third base here. Big strides, big man, and he's moving faster than it might look.
Yes, he is. Watch his body lean.
I imagine a lot of football teams have taken a peek at this guy and thought, oh, what could have been. I think he made the right choice.
Cole Calhoun's the batter. He smacks a line drive up the right field line. That's a foul ball. Wonder how long it took Mr. Trout to score from first in that double. Is that about as fast as you think it could be done by a guy his size?
I would think so. I think through the years, Dave Parker was a big man,
yes.
bigger than Mike Trout, and he could run really well, but he wasn't in that kind of speed category. Don Baylor could run really well. I don't think he was quite this fast. Of course, Bo Jackson now, he was a unique customer, and I don't know that anybody ever approached what Bo could do with that body size.
There's a liner over shortstop. That'll score another. Kendrick around to make it 3-0. And hustling into second base ahead of that throw is Calhoun with his 27th run batted in. That's double number 7 for Calhoun. And now the Angels lead 3-0. Back-to-back doubles by Kendrick and Calhoun. Deion Sanders could certainly fly.
We're told 10.5 seconds on a slowing down heading into the plate. Mike Trout from first to home. The thing is, we got to see Bo Jackson play both football and baseball, and he was tremendous. He was elite in both sports. We never got that chance to see Mike Trout play football. There's no telling, but he might have been that same type of player.
Could have been. Doug Brokaw out now, and Oberholzer has not had many meetings like this with a pitching coach on the mound. Last time out, he gave up 1 run in 6 innings and a 2-1 loss to Oakland. Didn't walk anybody. Yoenis Cespedes homered for the only run in the game. His previous start was here. He shut out Seattle 2-0 on 4 hits. Had 1 walk and struck out 5. So he has not given up a big inning in a while now. And it's Iannetta batting. Iannetta homered in the 3rd. That's ball 1. Last start for Oberholzer, in which he gave up multiple runs, was at the White Sox on the 26th of August. Pickoff throw at second, and a good time for that. Calvin got back, but he was straying pretty far off the base, and it's 2-0 now.
I like seeing this. Let's see Marwin breaking early. That means there was a play put on between the two, Corcoran and Gonzalez. And at your latest point there, you break as the infielder, but obviously preset.
That's in for a strike to make it 2-1 to Iannetta. The Yankees lost today to the Red Sox. Joe Girardi's club is going to need a furious finish now. 79 wins and 70 losses.
Well, that pitch is just not getting the call tonight, both ways, and that's a very good looking pitch.
Mariners and Cardinals are scoreless. They're in the top of the 4th at St. Louis. Michael Wacha of Texas A&M working for the Redbirds. Liner left field. That'll get run number 4 home. Iannetta heads for second base, but he'll stop and settle for an RBI single. Iannetta drives in his 2nd of the game, 38th of the year, scoring Calhoun. 3 consecutive hits here for the Angels. Just when we said this had not been happening to Oberholzer, it is happening.
Yeah, even when you're pitching in a hot streak and throwing the ball well, some teams are going to get to you. And the Angels came into this series as a club that was scoring a lot of runs, winning ball games 15 out of 20 before losing last night. So it's not like you're facing a club that is trying to turn something around.
Right to Grant Green. And now the bullpen is busy with David Martinez. Now it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The shortest start for Oberholzer has been 5 1/3 innings of his 7. Dallas Keuchel went 5 2/3 last night, winning that game 9-7. Well, back, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count. Paul Clemens going tomorrow. And then Eric Bedard returns to the rotation Monday night as the Astros go back to that 6-man starting rotation. They've shut down Jared Kozart for the year, so Bedard in effect becomes Kozart's replacement. In the air and to shallow right center field. Marwin Gonzalez underneath. We're out number 2. Now, we've read that Eric Bedard will get a $250,000 incentive bonus for his next start.
Green got tied up with this pitch in on the hands a bit, and yeah, Eric's been sitting on that bonus here in recent times, working out of the bullpen, so it's a great opportunity for him.
Andrew Romine out to right center field. Trevor Crow moving to his left. Handles the third out. The Angels send 7 men to the plate. 3 of them score to make it 4-0.
Time for the Geico quote of the day, coming from Bo Porter. I think that was one of the happiest moments of the season, talking about his catcher, Cody Clark's first major league hit. It was something great to be a part of. The dugout certainly appreciated it. So did Astros fans, and so did the starting pitcher last night, Dallas Keuchel. He said watching it was pure happiness, and it was one of the better sights that he had seen in professional baseball. Several veterans also echoing that today in the clubhouse. Bill and Alan, guys, saying they couldn't be happier for Cody Clark and his perseverance. It shows again after an 0-for-25 slump that it was certainly paying off.
Yeah, that was one of the most enjoyable facets of last night's game. A happy time for his family. Jose Altuve leads it off and takes strike 1. Breaking pitch from Weaver. Altuve has the only hit. He's the only Houston base runner through the first 3. Now Weaver has a 4-run lead. Spins that one up high, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count.
Yeah, I love the story on Cody Clark, and good guys do make a difference. And Cody Clark is one of those guys, and I think everybody looks up to what he's done.
That's a close one, and it's 2-1.
It has been a bit tight back there.
Altuve fouls one away. Altuve has been getting his hits in bunches. He's had 3 3-hit games and 1 4-hit game in September. And that coincides with moving to the number 2 spot in the lineup. He's hit second in all 12 games this month, counting this one. So now it appears that going to spring training next year, Will Porter would be counting upon VR and Altuve in the top 2 spots in the lineup.
I don't see why you would even hesitate in that direction. I think those 2 guys have shown what they can do. If you stack them up against other clubs and the top 2 guys in an order, I think these 2 stack up extremely well. VR as a leadoff guy has a chance, and it's not a lock yet, but I think he has a chance to be one of the game's really top leadoff players.
VR has a .359 on base average. Altuve's on base average is .313. And I think it's appropriate that they're hitting the way they are for that reason. VR reaching base at a higher clip, and he has plenty of speed, as does Altuve. But Altuve is a guy who doesn't walk very much, and yet he can put the ball in play. He's a good hit and run guy. Curveball gets a strikeout for Weaver, and I just think hitting second plays into his strengths. Ash, do you agree or disagree?
I completely agree. I think Jose Altuve, though he doesn't walk much, is very capable of taking strikes to enable a stolen base scenario.
Good point.
He makes contact. He can utilize the whole field. If he gets a hole on the right side, he can take advantage of it. I think, as you say, it just sets up perfectly for him.
Now Trevor Crowe, he hit a fly ball to center field in the first inning.
And I think if you were coaching, advising Jonathan VR right now, you'd be hard-pressed beyond some of the base running skills, instincts, to say here's an area you really need to improve upon offensively. Defensively, I think there's work to be done. But as a hitter, left-handed and right-handed, he has his strengths, and they've really shined already to this point. I think he's doing things well. You want to hone some of what he does on the base paths, no doubt.
Off the plate for Weaver, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
I think Adam Everett, among others, can really get involved defensively with Jonathan VR and shaping what he has a chance to become.
Adam's terrific. He just had such command of the fundamentals of playing shortstop. He can pass that along to the young players. And Jimmy Williams put in a lot of good work with Adam. Jimmy was the skipper here. He always seemed to have his feet in the right position to make the throw.
Remember how Matt Galani was so crucial with Craig Biggio and so many others, helping them to become really great infielders. And a guy doesn't necessarily come up to the big leagues and just have it. And I think Jonathan VR, for me, has shown the tools are there. Now the tools have to be brought to the forefront on a regular basis.
That's a walk to Trevor Crowe. Number 1 for Weaver.
And then there's Carlos Correa, not far down the line.
Weaver wanted that inside corner call. Mark Wegner said ball 4. Brett Wallace struck out looking at a 3-2 pitch earlier. This one off the mid of Iannetta will allow Crowe a chance to move up to second base. It's the target by a wide margin.
Seen this happening a lot on both sides, Astros and opposition clubs, where the catcher sets up away on the left-hand hitter and the pitch misses down and in on the lefty, and just creates that backhanded lurching effort for the catcher.
Strike 1 to Wallace. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Brett.
Just float a changeup right in, up, waist high through the heart of the plate, and yet arm speed apparently good enough to make that deceptive.
It's been amazing to watch him here early in the
been.
game. He's been getting by with some mistakes. And the Astros hitters are trying to be patient with him. 2 balls and a strike. 57 pitches so far for Weaver. 34 for strikes. Quad Cities going for a championship in the Midwest League. Scored 2 in the first against South Bend. Up 2-0 with a 2-0 lead after 1. Fly ball deep right field. Way back to right. Calhoun tries to climb in the seats. That's a 2-run homer for Wallace. And it's a 4-2 ball game as Wallace rips one, his 13th of the year, giving him 34 runs batted in.
You get that home run swing right on the heels of a free pass, and that's really taking advantage. This is what Brett Wallace teases you with. He's got some pop. Ball on the hands a bit. He really tried to cut off the swing and get the barrel to it and got just enough.
Cuts the lead in half, 4-2. Matt Dominguez takes a breaker for ball 1. It's 13 homers for Wallace, 34 runs batted in. 3 bombs against the Angels for Brett this year. That one had a little cut to it, and it's ball 2. It's 2-0. The 17th homer surrendered by Weaver. He's pitched 145 innings. Going at 85 upstairs, missing very high, and it's 3 balls, no strikes. Wallace put some thunder out there, got the Astros quite a bit closer in this game after the Angels got 3 in the top of the 4th. Strike makes it 3-1 to Domingo. Foul ball back, brings the count full.
Brett Wallace on that home run. Take a peek from the side, and you can see he got tied up, but he's a big, strong fella, and even getting tied up has the kind of power to drive it out of the ballpark. Pretty cozy right field.
Domingo puts another one out of play. Josh Hader gets the start tonight for Quad Cities. Young 19-year-old lefty picked up in the Bud Norris trade from the Baltimore organization. And he pitched a good hitless first inning with the 2-0 lead after 1 for Quad Cities River Bandits. Pop-up brings Trumbo over in front of the Astros bench, and he snags it. 2 outs.
MLB.com @bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. @bat delivers Astros baseball at its highest tech best. Text @bat to 31826 or visit Astros.com for details.
Or just stop Mr. Tech himself, Alan Ashby, and ask him to figure it out for you.
That will do you no good whatsoever.
Carlos Corcoran grounded out earlier. There's ball 1 to Corp. You're a tech savvy guy.
You know what? I try a bit, but I realize man's got his limitations. Dirty Harry told me.
Dirty Harry. 1 ball, 1 strike. Who's the most tech savvy person you can think of, Ash?
Dear.
Phil Boudreau?
He's among them. Julian Morales might be pretty good.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
When you say that, you've got to be multi-skilled. I mean, you've got to be great with the computer, tablet, phone, whatever the case may be, and just know all the ins and outs of all the apps.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
You're pretty slick on the Twitter thing. But are you well-rounded? That's what we need to know.
No. Where's that slide rule we had up there? Now, do you remember coming to school wearing that slide rule hanging from your belt?
Never happened. I didn't allow myself even to have one of the pockets where the pens would go. That was not going to happen.
Well, that is sick. If you never wore a slide rule on your belt or had a pocket protector,
did not happen.
You were not a member of society.
Not that society. Not to say there's anything wrong with it. Which, of course, Jerry Seinfeld reminded me to consider.
Big 3-2 pitch coming here from Weaver to Corp. And he fouls.
Were you that guy?
No. That slide rule, what if it broke? You saw it happen, right? You got all this trouble.
You know, I could have only hoped that might have been the case. I used to always ask, what do you do with this thing? What a lost art.
He got underneath this one. Calhoun moving over toward the right field line. And Brett Wallace's 2-run homer here in the fourth has made it a 4-2 lead for the Angels after 4.
Brought to you by MD Anderson, making cancer history. September 14th, 1976, at Memorial Stadium, Dennis Martinez makes his major league debut, pitching 5 2/3 innings, that of shutout baseball. In relief, Dennis is the first person from Nicaragua to appear in a major league game. Well, you knew the curveball had to be factored in there. He was known for his great curveball. Heck of a changeup right there, and another change. See if he can play some defense. See if he is multi-talented, no doubt about it. He of the perfect game.
El Presidente, Dennis Martinez. Inning number 5 begins with J.B. Shuck batting against Brett Oberholzer. After 3 runs in the 4th inning, the Angels come out with strike 1 there to Shuck. He is 0 for 2 in this game. Ibar and Trout to follow. The Angels have 5 hits, no errors. The Astros have 2 hits, no errors. Chop over Oberholzer, and coming in, it's bobbled, and Marwin can't come up with it. Over Oberholzer.
That's 5 times rapidly, Bronny.
Let's file that one away until about 2020. That's an infield hit for Shuck.
You can see once this got past the mound, this was going to be tough. That third bounce right there makes it really tough, as Marwin knew it was do or die.
Now Shuck aboard for Ibar now. Ibar's put the ball in the air twice. Fly ball to center. Fly ball to right. Put the air in the ball in basketball, right? And take the air out of the ball if you're trying to protect the lead. Don't do that in baseball. There's ball 1.
If you just keep it on the ground, you don't bother talking about the air.
Marlins 3, Mets nothing in game 1 of a twin bill at New York. Hector Alvarez got the win for the Miami Marlins with 7 innings, a 4-hit shutout ball. Chad Qualls is having a pretty good year for them, Ash. He got his 13th hold.
Bounce back time.
2.81 ERA for Chad. Steve Cishek got his 30th save.
What do you think of what J.B. Shuck has done with the Angels this year?
I think he's done a tremendous job with them. When he was with the Astros, it was hard to figure how much playing time he would ever get in a major league season. Well, he's had probably more than a lot of people would project with almost 400 at bats this year. He's played 116 games now. He's really cashed in, and I think in many ways has enhanced his value to a major league club. He has a 327 on base average, 373 slugging, so not the type of numbers most people would say would command a starting spot in a major league outfield. That's popped up foul. Brett Wallace over, but it can work. It depends on the composition of the club. If there's enough slugging at the other positions on the club, then a guy with J.B. Shuck's numbers can play a lot. He scored 52 runs, moves around well in the outfield.
And I'm sure he was tough to size up a year ago. Played in just 37 games for Houston. Actually 2 years ago. A couple of doubles, a triple, no homers. That's not a corner outfielder, but he did hit 272. So yeah, it really comes down to, as you say, how it fits in the lineup.
It's so tough to tell too. 2 balls and a strike, and I think that's why the Astros want to take a long look at these young outfielders they have this year. You know, a guy like J.B. Shuck might be better than some of the guys they have right now.
You never know, and that's the thing. You hate to miss on a guy.
So yeah, don't give him 100 at bats. If you could give them more, you get a lot better read. 150, 200. I'm sure players would say that's not enough. It may not be. Dominguez to second, and there's the turn by Marlin, and a marvelous play by Wallace at first. Digging that one out. A hard skimming throw out of the dirt, and Wallace is there. He's made a couple of fine plays at first.
Brett has been challenged, no doubt about it, defensively tonight, and met the challenge and then some. Marwin Gonzalez finding out how tough it can be with that runner coming bearing down on you on the double play possibility. But I tell you what, Marlin gets rid of this ball quickly, coming over the top though, drives it into the ground. I think a lot of times that's why you see the second baseman with that sidearm throw. You flatten it out a bit more.
That's a good point, Ash. Mike Trout hit a fly ball to right, then he walked and scored. Takes the breaker for strike 1. When Oberholzer started this game tonight, he had a 1.91 ERA. Since he entered the rotation at the end of July, that was the best in the American League in that period of time.
Boy, that pitch is leaving pitchers, catchers shaking their heads, trying to figure out, what do I do?
You don't want to come right into the middle of the plate, especially not with Trout. It's 2-1. The Reds beat the Brewers in Milwaukee 7-3. Homer Bailey going to 11-10. Beat Johnny Hellweger's 1-4. Aroldis Chapman got save number 36. Chu and Votto went deep. 3-1. And the Reds will be headed here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It'll kind of be that old NL Central feel to that 3-game series. Reds now have won their 84th of the season. Right in the mix. Still could win their division. They'll have to go some. That's a walk to Trout, and his second of the night, and the second for Oberholzer tonight. So let's see how it shakes out currently in the National League wild card picture. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati tied. Washington 5 back. Arizona 9.5 behind. Much a 2-team race there, and there is a strong likelihood that there will be 3 playoff teams from the NL Central.
People thought that the Washington Nationals were a shoo-in to win that Eastern Division this year. Just hasn't worked out. Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, not a chance. It'll be another losing year. You get crossed up year after year. Some teams will cross you up with what you think is a given.
No doubt about that. Trumbo's 0 for 2, has a 1-0 pitch coming from Obi. It's 1-1. And the Pirates are blazing new ground. Chased a pitch down that time.
Part of what you get when you have the big power hitting guy, first baseman, corner outfielder type guy. Take the big swings, and Mark Trumbo's going to produce with those big swings. Well, it's going to be something hitting 4 or 5 in this lineup for the Angels, with Mike Trout just constantly on base.
What a threat he is. With all the walks, he now has drawn 99 walks. He's scored 103 runs. He's driven in 86. He's going, and it's foul back. And 32 steals in 39 tries. He can really score the run once he gets on. If he just gets some hits on the board behind him as a base runner.
439 the on-base percentage right now after 2 walks tonight for Mike Trout.
Second in the American League. Giants and Dodgers play late out west. Lincecum and Nolasco to pitch. Blue Jays dealt the Orioles a 4-3 setback in Toronto. Colby Rasmus hit his 20th home run. Jeremy Jeffress the winner. Maybe Chris Tillman is 16-6. Casey Janssen got his 30th save. Manny Machado hit his 14th home run. The Orioles now only 8 games above 500 at 78-70.
Thought Bud Norris might make a difference in that starting rotation and help the O's maybe find their way into the postseason. Doesn't look like it.
Foul back. He's having elbow problems. Not sure how serious they are. Diamondbacks 2, Rockies nothing. Bottom of the second in Arizona. Roy Oswalt is starting that game for Colorado. Roy has had a rough time this year. Spent a long time in the minor leagues, signed, as you know, during this season. And his ERA is currently 8.74. Swing and a miss for Trumbo, and that's a strikeout. Double play and a strikeout in the 5th inning. That's 4 punch outs for Obi and a 4-2 Angel lead.
We want to remind you to tune in to Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score, but the experience.
And a nice experience to come out to a major league game for these kids. What they're watching is a 4-2 ball game, and the Angels have the upper hand at the moment. Weaver gave up a 2-run homer to Wallace, though, in the 4th inning as the Astros got closer. Now Mark Krause looks at ball 1. Krause hit a fly ball to center in the 2nd. Ball rolled out to second base, fielded by Green, and that's 1 out for Weaver in pursuit of win number 10. Pitched a no-hitter against Minnesota in 2012, and a 10-win season would put him among select company. It would be his 8th as a member of the Angels. He would join Chuck Finley and Nolan Ryan as the only Angels to record at least 10 wins in 8 separate seasons. And he would join Ryan as the only Angel to do it 8 years in a row. Jimmy Paredes gets underneath it, and this foul pop goes back into the seats. Strike 1 to Jimmy, who struck out in the 3rd inning.
There was a time you faced the California Angels, I believe, at the time, when all you could think about as you were getting ready to play the Angels was, please, no Nolan Ryan and Frank Tanana here in this series.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? 0-2. Well, Chuck Finley is the all-time Angel victory leader. 165. Nolan Ryan second with 138. And right now, number 3 is Jared Weaver. Pretty good shot at being the all-time leader if he stays healthy and stays in an Angel uniform. He's won 20 in a season. He's won 18. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We've talked about his lack of fastball now, and it's basically where it has gotten for Jared Weaver now as he's gotten deeper into his career. But the last couple of years, terrific numbers in terms of batting average against.
Green goes out Paredes, 2 outs.
Nolan Ryan was throwing no-hitters in mid and upper 90s with his fastball and the other pitches to go with it. But for Weaver to have thrown a no-hitter last year, pretty spectacular stuff with a fastball that really doesn't get to 90 miles an hour.
It's really rather amazing to watch him. Our first look at it. He's getting these outs. 85, 87. Marwin Gonzalez hit the fly ball to left field in the 3rd. Ball 1. It's an 86-mile-per-hour pitch. Weaver had quite a stretch this year. He had 4 earned runs in 36 innings during that stretch. 5 consecutive wins at Angel Stadium. That's bunted foul. 1-1. He had a scoreless inning streak of 26 1/3. That was the longest since Nolan Ryan had a 33-inning scoreless streak in 76 and 77. The games he started over that stretch were against St. Louis, Boston, Oakland, Minnesota, and Toronto. Changeup comes in for a strike. 1-2. What he's doing, though, is just kind of flying below the radar. Looks like tonight. Just that below bat speed type velocity, Ash.
Hard to figure. I've watched some of the hitters actually wait too long on some of the pitches coming in.
2-2. Now the Mariners are out in front of the Cardinals. It's 2-0 in the 5th inning. The umpires are huddling over something here. First base umpire is Tim Timmons.
What is this all about?
Not really sure. Have the count correct on the board. It's not about what the count is. 2-2. They talked about it, went back to their positions, and the game's about ready to move on. Puzzling.
There is a mystery afoot here.
center field. Marwin Gonzalez fought it off. He's on with a 2-out single. Umpire-induced hit.
This Sunday the 15th is Doggy Day at Minute Maid Park. Brought to you by Purina. Bring your canine companion along to watch the Astros take on these Angels and enjoy a ton of dog-friendly activities. Get your dog's ticket by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com.
You bringing your dog out tomorrow?
It's going to be rough on us to do so.
Jonathan Villar is the batter. He's rolled out and he's flied out. He bunts. Well placed. Barehanded try. Not in time. Boy, was that a good bunt by Jonathan Villar, taking his hitting streak to 8 games.
You know, there's a point at which, and I would think that point might have already come about. With Villar at the plate, opposing managers have got to bring third baseman, maybe even first baseman in and force him to swing the bat. Because he will bunt and bunt successfully when it doesn't look like he has a chance. When you look at that bunt, he'll drop him down beautifully. He has shown that he'll push it to shortstop, to the second baseman. He's got a variety of options that he goes to.
Jose Altuve is 1 for 3. 1 for 2 rather. Foul ball. That's another reason for Villar to be the leadoff man, his bunting ability. And that will also play into the on-base average being pretty high. And then the speed. So it's all about reaching base. And his 359 on-base average, quite a bit better than Altuve's 313 presently. Good stop there by Iannetta. It's 1-1. Altuve's more likely to get extra base hits than Villar. So he has more of an RBI opportunity, hitting second in the lineup. And then you have the number 9 hitter, Gonzalez, who started things with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the inning with a single. So it could be a 9-1-2 rally here with Trevor Crowe on deck. Altuve swung at a pitch up in his eyes. And he'll do that occasionally.
Unusual swing, too.
Yeah.
Maybe committed early. Breaking ball was left up, and he's not tickled with that swing. But I tell you what, he can give you some real funky swings and come up with hits, too.
He can, or at least foul off a pitch. He takes that one for ball 2, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Altuve. Villar now, during his 8-game hitting streak, has 14 hits. Seattle just got 2 in the 5th, as we mentioned. 2-0 at St. Louis. Bottom of the 5th now. Paxton pitching for Seattle against Waka. And still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Go back to earlier this year, Ash, when the Astros were really going out 1, 2, 3 in a lot of innings. Sometimes a pitcher would need 8 pitches, 9 pitches, 7 pitches. This lineup now for Bo Porter is making the pitcher work a lot harder.
They are, but they're also more effective with the swings. I've seen not only early this year in that time reference you're making where the club was having those issues.
Ibar backhands, throws to third, no play there. Bases loaded, infield hit for Altuve. And it's a 9-1-2 rally with Trevor Crowe coming up with the bases loaded now.
25 hits here in the month for Jose Altuve. He's been phenomenal. But if you can't back it up with getting some hits with the bat, you can take all you want. And pitchers are just going to abuse the strike zone, get ahead, and bury hitters.
Good point. Altuve reaching. Now Mike Butcher comes out. Jose now has 161 hits. He's the club leader.
This is the 14th of September, and Jose Altuve has 25 hits in this month.
A September to remember, perhaps, midway through. How about runners in scoring position?
September's been a good one for the club. slugging at .532 on, or the average at .363. That's phenomenal when you compare it to early stages. April through August at .244. The Major League average at .270. And again, what the Astros are doing in September is being reflected on the scoreboard with the runs scored.
By Trevor Crowe, strike one.
And in the one-loss column, 7-5 for the club.
Well, the Astros got another grand slam last night from Matt Dominguez. That's their third of the year. Trevor Crowe would settle for a well-placed hit here with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Red Wallace on deck. Crowe fouls that one away. Trevor is 1 for 1 with the bases loaded this year. Gonzalez is at third with Villar at second. The runner at first is Altuve. And the count's 0-2. Weaver's had to work hard in this inning after getting the first 2 routinely and having Gonzalez at a 2-2 count. Upstairs for a ball to make it 1-2. Going back to Villar's bunt, that can really be a key component of so many big innings. Just a bunt single dropped in here and there. Can be a real rally sustainer. 4 2/3 innings for Weaver, 5 hits, 2 runs.
Yeah, people talk about walks kill. Yeah, they do. So do singles. Just getting men on base, and especially when you're talking about the top of the order guys, to set it up for the big boys. And you do want to have that different type of player in your order. You got to have those guys that drive in runs as well.
Strike 3, that ends it. Crowe caught looking, and it's no runs, 3 hits. Strikeout number 4 for Weaver, 4-2 Angels.
Join the players at Dancing with the Astros charitable fundraiser on Sunday, September 15th, after the game at the House of Blues. Advance tickets purchase required. Visit astros.com/dancing or call 713-259-8851 today.
That's tomorrow after the game. Now Howie Kendrick in a 4-2 ball game leads it off. And there's strike 1 for Brett Oberholzer. Kendrick at the RBI double in the 4th inning is 1 for 2. Was a part of a 3-run 4th. 4-6-0 for the Angels, 2-5-0 for the Astros. Bouncer shortstop, Villar. And the stretch safe is the call that Wallace was pulled off the base. That's Tim Timmons' call. We looked down and his right foot was right on first base. He might have moved it back. Villar took a little extra time perhaps, but still it seemed that the throw was there in time.
Throw certainly beat him. We'll see if Wally is able to keep his foot on the bag as he makes his stretch to the home plate side a bit. And again, one of those throws offline from VR. At that point, does he come off? We can't tell from that angle. Another tough angle. You see how he loses extension with the toe?
Yeah.
That foot kind of flattens out, and I would assume at that point is where he's deemed to have taken the foot off the bag.
It's an error on VR, his 11th. And Calhoun takes ball 1. Calhoun with an RBI double in the 4th to left center is 1 for 2. It did appear on that last replay that his foot might have come off the base.
Yeah, I thought so even watching initially. I saw that flattened foot from Brett, and a lot of times you just don't maintain the bag. But you know, it really comes back down to Jonathan VR. He made kind of the sidearm submarine throw. A lot of guys do it and do it successfully. You can think of Adrian Beltre and Robinson Cano who make that type of throw. But you've got to find a throw that works for you consistently.
He looks a little agitated. Two balls and a strike.
And I think a guy who plays first base all the time probably finds a way to stay on the bag with that one. Can be a more complicated position than I think most people, even around the game, give credit to, playing first base.
Crow's moving over to left center. That's a strike to make it 2-2. Oberholzer is being tested tonight.
I think with that limited strike zone down around the bottom of the knees, both pitchers have been tested in that regard.
Reiner Cruz in the bullpen. 91 pitches for Oberholzer. Liner, one hopper. Recovery, getting the out there. Marwin Gonzalez out at first. Double play. That was slick with the bobble by VR. It was amazing that they could still get 2 outs on that.
You know, when you talk tools and the fact that VR is loaded with tools, it's that ability with the tools that leads to a play like this. This falls in that kind of exceptional play area, and we haven't seen a whole lot, quite frankly, from VR to this point. More mistakes, certainly, but boy, when you can make that kind of play on a tough ground ball that starts to get away, that's special.
Don't see many like that. Iannetta shoots one on the ground. VR is there. That's it. No runs, no hits, 1 error, nobody left. 4-2 Angels. Sportsnet is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. Brought to you by Mitsubishi. Find your own lane in an all-new 2014 Mitsubishi Outlander. Visit MitsubishiCars.com/2014 Outlander. Here's the crowd at Minute Maid Park. They're seeing a 4-2 ball game go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And that was a nice double play turned by VR and Gonzalez and Wallace there in the top of the inning. And then on Ionetta's ground ball, VR took care of that one. So a relatively quick frame for Oberholzer. Bullpen has been busy for Houston. And it might be busy here in the 6th inning for the Angels. Brett Wallace takes strike one because that's pitch number 95 now for Weaver. Wallace ripped a 2-run homer off Weaver in the 4th inning to right field. His 13th of the year. No balls, 2 strikes. We've taken note of the low velocity of Weaver tonight, mid-80s. That was a changeup last time at 77. He had some forearm tightness in his last start. So perhaps that's having some effect on him. He pitched well, giving up 3 runs in 6 innings and reported no problems during his bullpen session in between starts.
I think Brett Wallace has lowered his hands a bit again.
Is that a good thing?
Well, it was the raised hands that he came back from Oklahoma City with, and that was part of the story about how he had gone back to higher hands. It just looks to me like he's kind of settled back down a bit.
That's 1 out in the 6th inning for Weaver. Matt Dominguez is fly to center and hit a foul pop. 4 straight quality starts for Weaver coming into this one. That's ball 1. Royals lead the Tigers at Detroit. It's 1-0 Kansas City in the bottom of the 7th inning. One ball and 1 strike for Jared Weaver. Irvin Santana, the former Angel, started that game for the Royals. He went 6 2/3 against Doug Fister. Behind second base, it goes out to shallow center field, and churning in for it, laying out for it, Trout, unable to make the catch. Trout couldn't hold it. He got something of a late start, and Dominguez is able to reach first base. But then he was racing for it and decided to dive. And it's a single for Dominguez and a 4-game hitting streak.
All well and fine, but on this ball you should be at second base. We'll see if Mike Trout gets any kind of reaction back. And now the speed comes on, but that step back cost him. And you'd also like to see your second baseman and or shortstop giving chase out there to help a center fielder who didn't get the right read to begin with. When a ball drops after having that much air under it, I think you need to feel like you should be at second base.
Trout gets back to his position after the 1-out pop fly single, and it's Corcoran next. Juan Gutierrez is warming up in the bullpen for the Angels.
See what Mike Trout deals with now as he comes on, dives. That glove hits the ground, and it's that slamming of the ground that has the ball come out. You can see he had it right in the pocket.
Corcoran's 0 for 2. That's strike 1. A lot of times that collision with the earth will cause the ball to come out, and that's what happened there with Trout.
Big ball trumps little ball. Always has.
David Martinez and Reiner Cruz are warming up for Houston. Phillies 4, Nationals 1, top of the 7th in Washington. John Mayberry Jr. hit his 11th home run. No balls, 2 strikes. Ryan Sandberg, managerial tenure should be interesting to follow there in Philadelphia. Now, Boshears, the lefty, has joined Gutierrez, the right-hander. It's a flare. Third baseman back for it, and with his back turned, what a tremendous catch by Andrew Romine. That is a spectacular play by Romine.
You won't see this very often. This is back straight to home plate. And so all you're looking at is what comes over your head. You have no angle to deal with and then lay out. That's Jim Edmonds and that catch in center field decades back that is one of the great catches of all time. That's a fantastic play.
Oh, such a difficult play. Andrew Romine. That's out number 2, and that could be a real rally breaker up because now it's 2 outs and Krause comes in, and Krause is 0 for 2. If that falls for a single, now it's first and second, 1 out. Sure, there could be a double play ball. That's ball 1. Each club with 6 hits. Scioscia had to like that.
I think there may be some praise handed out on that play.
Strike makes it 1-1. Well, there was an article written, and Weaver was quoted in it a few days ago about the Angels' style of play, and Weaver said it's changed so much with our lineup changing. We used to be a team that hustled and went first to third a lot, and now we have a different sort of a lineup with more sluggers in it. We don't run the bases the way we had in the past, and that's been noted by everybody who's followed this Angel club. And the change has brought them a team that's 5th in the league in runs scored. Certainly Pujols has been out for a while with an injury and wasn't healthy much of the time this year, but it just has not clicked for this Angel club, and I think a lot of it is the team has not pitched well enough. Struck him out. That's number 5, and after 6 it's 4-2 Angels.
September 27th through the 29th, the New York Yankees come to Minute Maid Park for the Astros' final series of the 2013 season. Be a part of history as Mariano Rivera closes out his Hall of Fame career. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com for tickets. Bill and Allen.
Thanks, Layla. David Martinez is in the game, pitching for the Astros after Brett Oberholzer went the first 6. And Martinez, the Venezuelan-born right-hander, is 26 years old. We'll try to slam the door on the Angels here, give the Astros a chance to come from behind, trailing 4-2. He's had quite a year in the minor leagues. In 2 games as an Astro, 1-0 with a 5.06 ERA.
And I think when he does his door slamming, it will be because he features that good hard sinker down around the knees. Little slider to go with it, changeup, but he's got to be down.
He got his first major league win against the White Sox in Chicago, August 26th. Right after that, he was optioned back to AAA Oklahoma City. Grant Green faces him. And there's ball 1 to Green. Green is 0 for 2 tonight.
You see that sharp teeth beard we saw in the stands a while ago?
No.
Never seen one quite like that.
1 ball, 1 strike. We'll have to get another look at that. A sharply hit ball into the right field corner. Green hustling for second base. Paredes gets it back into the infield, and there's a double for Green, his 7th of the year.
Well, that looked easy and effective. Pitch away and drives it to right. Astros Trivia is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. What's the longest winning streak in Astros history? Ooh, I remember being part of a 10-game winning streak. Probably early 80s. But I don't know that that was the longest.
Don't think so, Ash.
No.
But it's nice to have a 10-gamer.
You have something in memory?
Yeah, a little bit longer than that, I think. Now the Astros are looking for a bunt from Andrew Romine, who's 1 for 2 in this game. He puts it down toward the mound. Martinez throwing to Wallace at first for the sacrifice. And Green goes to third base on out number 1. 1-3 play. So Socha plays for an additional run, up by 2 here in the 7th inning with his number 9 hitter. And now it's J.B. Shuck batting. Shuck is 1 for 3. Infield will come in, and that's why Socha did it.
I think Andrew Romine has just picked up some points with his skip here in the last 5 minutes or so. That great defensive play, and now the bunt.
You bet he has. 21,903 the paid attendance. Oberholzer in 6 innings gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, walking 2, fanning 4, throwing 93 pitches, 61 for strikes. This one gets by the catcher, and here comes the base runner and scores. Green coming in on a wild pitch to make it 5-2.
Yeah, kind of a gift run here in the inning. There's that not exactly set up away and then fastball to the backhand side scenario. It was really kind of set up in, and Corp just wasn't able to make the adjustment.
Ruling it a pass ball, we understand, not a wild pitch. And now this one goes into right field, a hit for Shuck. He's 2 for 4 in this game.
He is one of those guys that just seems to find a way offensively.
Is the 2nd pass ball of the year charged to Corcoran. Socha's club now has banged out 8 hits in this game. And Ibar will follow. Ibar's 0 for 3. Martinez has done a lot of pitching this year. And quite often a young hurler in September in a major league season is tired. May not be the case with him. There's ball 1.
Still some arms that are going to have to finish up the innings the remainder of the way.
Exactly. He's thrown 140 in a 3rd innings at AA and AAA this year. And a few more for the Astros. Runner going, and it's fouled. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That appeared to be a classic hit and run. A little bit of a late break. You can't get picked off on a hit and run. You trust your hitter. And Ibar swinging at a pitch that may have been off the plate.
Martinez, with his last appearance at Oklahoma City, September 5th, threw 94 pitches in a playoff game against Omaha. So he's had 9 days in between outings. Runner goes again, and it's fouled again. That makes it 1-2, so there could be some rust at work as well on David Martinez. He set a Corpus club record for wins with 14. When he was called up to AAA Oklahoma City, he led the Texas League in wins and an ERA at a 2.02 figure in the Texas League. So one of the outstanding players who's found his way to 3 different levels of Astros baseball this year. There's a swing by Ibar and a strikeout.
And back to our Astros trivia, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. That longest winning streak in Astros history, what would you say, Brownie?
Oh, I didn't say 12.
You didn't? Oh.
Nope.
You had a golden opportunity to say you did. 12.
I blew it.
Said on September 14th, 1999.
Jay Powell would know.
I love that uniform there. That was pretty cool. And some very good clubs under Larry Dierker.
If you were to poll Astros fans who have been fans for the last 20 years, Mike Trout, the batter, strike one, what was their favorite day in Astros baseball for a regular season game, not a playoff game? A lot of people would say that game we just saw. Final regular season game in '99. They clinched a playoff spot. Final regular season game in the Astrodome.
Yep.
The place was going nuts.
I remember it well.
1-1.
And that day concluded a 12-game winning streak.
Yeah, and
wow.
Willie Nelson appeared on the field and sang his famous song, "Turn Out the Lights, the Party's Over."
It's funny, I don't actually remember that aspect. I remember the win, and it was so crucial for the club.
Two and one. We'll have to ask Layla because we had our musical poll earlier. Top hits of 2013, right?
Willie Nelson's not on that list, I'm going to trust.
He's not on that list. No, not for 2013. But of all the musical artists during our lifetimes.
Of all the girls I've loved before.
Yeah. And Layla's lifetime is a lot shorter than ours, admittedly.
Oh, that's generous.
But the people who have created distinct trends in music, the real trendsetters in the different genres of music, what would you say, Layla? The Beatles, of course. Maybe it would be Willie Nelson in country.
Yeah, I'd say Willie Nelson for sure.
Elvis would have to be on that list.
Elvis. If you're going hip hop, maybe Public Enemy.
Okay. Deep drive to right center field. Paredes comes over, makes the grab, and we'll continue that poll later. The Angels lead it 5-2.
Girl, Macy Levi, the famous dancing girl from a couple of weeks ago. You've since become pretty much a superstar. She is our progressive fan of the game, joined by her friend Kylie. What has been the reaction since you kind of went viral?
I've heard from people that I haven't heard from in years, just sending me links to the video, and I'm like, I was just doing my dance moves.
They're pretty good dance moves. We would like to show you the dance moves one more time. I'm going to set down the mic for a second.
Oh, this is good stuff.
Our progressive fan of the game, part 2. She is Macy Levi, her friend Kylie. Now you know who they are, and we all know the dance moves. Guys, back to you.
How did you find them, Layla?
Our awesome crew, of course. They are the eagle eyes of Houston. I think they could find you if they need to.
Well, we're always looking for Macy Levi. Glad to have her here tonight.
Well, here's hoping you get back on cut 4. Ladies, nicely done. I appreciate the moves. Guys, back to you.
Macy and Kylie and Layla.
Layla, nice moves there. Way to go.
Yeah, you're stunning us.
Well, we try, right? Isn't that the goal?
Good stuff. Michael Kahn in the game. And he throws strike 1 to Jimmy Paredes. Here in the last of the 7th inning with a 5-2 Angel lead. And Jared Weaver coming out after 6 innings of 6-hit, 2-run baseball. Walking 1, fanning 5, throwing 108 pitches, 70 for strikes. 5th straight quality start for Jared Weaver. Michael Kahn is 1-2 with a 3.26 ERA.
Position batting average against 189, and the lefty's 122. So this guy's been effective.
So we now have a name for the face, Macy Levi. And Layla has solved a riddle that has existed slightly for less time than the Sphinx.
She became a big star quickly, though, huh?
Yeah, she did. She went viral, as they say, Ash.
Did you contribute to her viral ability?
No. We used to say when we were sick and missed a week of school, we went viral. But this is a different.
Yeah, but you needed a note to clarify that.
Layla's just going to stay down there and hang out with him. Foul pop. Romine over for a look at it. It's still no balls, 2 strikes for Michael Kahn. This Angel bullpen has a 4.11 ERA. 18 wins, 24 losses. What a night for Romine, huh? Single, a sac bunt that led to a run. And that tremendous catch in left field on the pop hit by Corcoran.
Yeah, I think we might see a little more of that defensive play.
He's no Macy Levi, but nonetheless.
Well, the moves were good, but they weren't that good.
Astros with 2 runs on 6 hits, and they have had 4 consecutive outstanding offensive games. And tonight, if they're to win, they'll have to come from behind against this Angel bullpen. It's a high pop-up, foul territory, Trumbo over, and now the right fielder Calhoun gets there. Calhoun handles out number 1. Let's see. Layla's been dancing. We didn't see this one. We caught her on tape, and Julia was captured on the road, and then there's the Jeff Blum dance while on camera.
Yeah, we're doing an open right there, and I take a glance at my partner, and he's dancing. Not this well.
Now, was that Kylie? That wasn't Kylie who was sitting beside Macy before when we had them on, right? She had a different friend with her there who was not participating.
No, it was not Kylie. In fact, Macy told me that it was her boyfriend, right? Your boyfriend was sitting next to you?
Oh.
Yes, he was. He was busy munching on some peanuts and was trying to clear them out of his face, and he's like, go, get it. Get it.
Okay, did she ditch him for tonight, or what happened with that?
Yeah, where is he?
He decided not to come. I bet now he's missing out. But yeah, he's going to regret it, but he decided not to come.
That is a lesson, boyfriends. This is what happens.
He's watching football, and she's going viral.
Macy wins.
Marwin Gonzalez hits it foul out of play, 1 and 2.
Yeah, for me, that one was all about the attitude. That was just thunder attitude.
Yep. Got to be a little sassy with it. Kahn throws one down and in, a check swing try, and it works for Marwin. Called by Laz Diaz, a 2-ball, 2-strike count. So what's your post-mortem on the Alabama A&M game, Ash?
Well, I was rooting for, I will easily come out and say I was rooting for Texas A&M. I wanted to see the guys take a run at a national title this year. And they came close. I mean, the offense was great. The defense got pushed around a bit by the Tide in the second half in particular.
Well, I think Layla kind of predicted that there could be some problems in the line for A&M. Wasn't that what we heard last night, Layla?
Well, when you lose a guy like Luke Jokel on the offensive line, I think it stands to reason that maybe it's going to be tough, just because he's probably one of the best young offensive linemen in the league.
Well, I'm going to have to challenge you there, because the offense actually, just the numbers are huge for the offense today.
Well, what about the D-line on that, Layla?
I'd say the Alabama defensive rush turned out to be pretty good, but that's no surprise. One of the best lines I saw on Twitter said, "Welcome back to the Big 12, Texas A&M with a 49-42 final." That was a pretty good joke.
Oh, okay.
But you guys don't know about the other game of the century that happened today, so I have to keep you informed. It was in Denton, Texas, gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
University of North Texas was down 20-3 to Ball State and came back to win 34-27.
That was a cataclysmic day, and thanks for letting us know about that.
It is the first time North Texas is 2-1 since 1994.
National title implications.
In the left center field. Marwin takes a big turn, and he is 2 for 3 in this game. Good night for Marwin. That'll get something stirred up, and Jonathan VR will follow. So the Mean Green, and of course Layla is a passionate follower of the Mean Green, her alma mater. So she'll keep us posted throughout the next, what do we have, 2 more weeks, Ash, of Mean Green football, and then we'll go away for a while.
Well, yeah, I think we'll all be watching closely for the remainder of the schedule. Or do the Mean Green want us to?
They really probably wouldn't want to claim us.
Yes, they do.
They do?
We claim broadcasters. It's a thing at our school.
That's great.
You should know that.
You're right. I should know that. Jonathan VR takes ball 1, because that is a school that's churned out some pretty good broadcasters, including, of course, yourself. But
let's not go that far. They may not claim me.
Can you name some others?
Of course, I can name Craig Way, Mark Followell. Trying to think off the top of my head. Of course, musicians like Nora Jones, and then also Don Henley. And when it comes to broadcasters,
Nora Jones.
Bill Moyers graduated from North Texas. He's done a thing or two in his time.
Yes. Very fine.
Well, those musical names, those are pretty strong.
Yeah.
And we have a game on CSN in November, gentlemen, with North Texas.
That's
I'm excited
great.
about that one.
Are you involved in the coverage?
I am. I'll keep it neutral that day, as any good broadcaster does.
But yeah, I'm surprised they would assign you to that, because you do have to remain neutral.
I will. I did for their game against the University of Houston last year as well.
Played it straight down the middle, Layla.
So I want to know if Texas A&M runs the board the rest of the way. Do they have any consideration among the leaders in the polling this year after scoring 42 against Bama?
Yes. Definitely they do.
It's a big if, obviously, but that's pretty impressive when he can run up that kind of a score against Alabama.
It is. It really is. Altuve on deck as VR awaits a 2-1 pitch. Angels have the edge in hits, 8-7. And they've gotten a home run from Ionetta. He's driven in 2. That's in for a strike, and it's 2-2 to VR. Michael Kahn on the mound. Kahn's 27 years old. He was a 13th round pick in 08. He's from Camden, South Carolina. It's 3-2. Like Layla, he has a communications degree, but not from North Texas State. He went to College of Charleston. Patrick Cobb, an NFL running back for the New Orleans Saints, is a North Texas alum. So is Bruce Chambers, a Texas Longhorns football assistant coach. Strikeout of VR. That's out number 2.
The factoids you keep in your head, Bronny, just astounding.
Well, they're on that slide rule. And Mean Joe Green, of course, Cedric Hardman, Toby Gowan, all of the NFL.
Cedric the Entertainer?
Abner Haynes. Remember him?
I do.
Don January, Billy Maxwell,
Wow.
PGA. Ray Renfro, fine NFL wide receiver.
Mike Renfro, I believe, was his son, and Mike was the guy who made what could have been the catch for the Oilers.
Yeah, that's true. Jose Altuve's 2 for 3. The ground ball hit through the left side, and Altuve has another 3-hit game. This is absolutely stirring stuff from him in September. A monster September for Altuve.
Where's number 27? Who knows? Before the night's over, he may have that many hits here in the month. Well, he just putting it on the barrel. Sometimes you'll hit him at people, but right now he's barreling the ball and he's finding holes.
3 for 4 tonight. That makes him 26 for 59 in September. This is his 4th 3-hit game in the month.
I think he's going to be feeling pretty frisky for the big dance competition tomorrow.
Trevor Crowe is 0 for 2 with a walk. He's involved also, right, in dancing with Strohs. Pat Boone is a North Texas guy. Layla didn't tell us that.
What about Debbie Boone?
I don't think they claim Debbie. There's ball one. Phyllis George.
Wow. Now we're talking.
Very distinguished list.
By the way, Jose Altuve with 3 hits tonight, now hitting .284.
Bouncer to second. Green in. And the toss goes over to Trumbo. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. And there they are, dancing away. It's 5-2 Angels. Five to 2 ball game here at Minute Maid Park. This is game 2 of a 3-game series. The hits are even at 8. And the Angels and Astros now move on to inning number 8 before 21,903. It'll be Trumbo, Kendrick, and Calhoun to bat against David Martinez in relief of Brett Oberholzer. Trumbo is 0 for 3 tonight, a ground out and 2 punch outs for Mark. Ball 1 from Martinez. The Astros have had quite a year in their farm system with pitching. Martinez, certainly one of the guys who opened eyes this year. And it's been a long minor league trek for David. Pretty good looking sink on that pitch, but it's 2 balls, no strikes. He was signed by Andres Reiner when Andres was in the Astros front office running the Venezuelan Academy back in '05. 2 balls, 1 strike. Last year he was at Lancaster. He's had a meteoric rise here in 2013 to the big leagues. Makes it 2-2.
This type of stuff can and does find its way into the big league rotations and can succeed in a big way, but it has to be really consistent down.
And when you're not getting calls down.
Yeah, that's true.
Boy. And that's an excuse. 3 balls, 2 strikes. There are going to be different strike zones on different nights.
But I think it's real when you find one of those nights where you're trying to find the bottom of the knees, can't get the call, you're forced into the heart of the strike zone, and it will kill you.
Trumbo draws the leadoff walk here. 48 base on balls of the year for Mark. That's the 3rd walk for Astros pitching tonight. And it brings up Kendrick. Kendrick doubled in a run in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. Reached on an error as well. Cole Hamels has had a good night for the Phillies. They're leading 5-1 at Washington in the bottom of the 7th inning. He's given up 1 run in 6 innings against Gio Gonzalez tonight. Cliff Lee's had a fine year for the Phillies. Runner going, and it's fouled. And it's out of the catcher's mitt. Well, it's not a. Well, it was fouled. Umpire didn't hold up his hands. Mark Wegner then did later. Yeah, he's going to bring that runner back to first base. It was a foul ball.
Part of that confusion at home plate can be you feel like maybe the catcher has caught the foul tip, and then there is no foul tip in reality. I think that's exactly what happens to Mark Wegner. Corcoran comes out ready to fire and no baseball. Now, I would say that ball was actually caught. And then the transfer is where the ball was lost.
Okay. Oh, 1 to Kendrick. Do you think a catcher could ever be quick enough to drop a foul tip if he saw the runner had too big a lead for him to throw him out?
Pretty tricky. I don't know that you can think it out quite that quickly.
Wouldn't see how you could.
You see that play with Corp. You're coming out ready to fire to throw to second base, and there's no process there that says, okay, well, what happens if I drop this ball? Pretty tough.
Mm-hmm. Wallace giving chase to this one, and it lands and bounces in the seats. 1-2. You know, technically a foul tip is a ball that's fouled, and it's fouled directly into the catcher's mitt and caught. We hear that term all the time, foul tip, when people are really saying what is a foul ball. But a foul tip is a ball that's fouled and caught, and it remains in play.
So technically that was not a foul tip.
That's correct. But they don't care much about that.
This game could get so technical.
Can it though? 2 balls, 2 strikes. Be careful though, playing with mommy's eyelids.
So what?
Indians 7, White Sox nothing. The Indians are trying to beat the White Sox for the 11th time in a row this year. And they pretty well have it done in the top of the 9th inning. Pop up near second. VR. 1 out. The Indians club's hanging. Terry Francona, 79 and 68 record. Asdrubal Cabrera hit his 13th homer. Lonnie Chisenhall, number 10 for the Tribe. They are on the road tonight in Chicago and trying to complete a shutout win over the White Sox. The White Sox are the only team to have more of a decline from last year's winning percentage than the Angels in the American League. Cole Calhoun doubled in a run in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. It's Ubaldo Jimenez authoring the shutout tonight for Cleveland. Andre Rienzo started for the White Sox. Strike 1. The Astros will be going to Cleveland after playing Cincinnati It'll be a battle against the Ohio clubs for the entire week starting Monday night, Ash.
I have to admit, I was kind of delving into this North Texas alums feature you guys have been.
It's impressive, isn't it?
It certainly is.
It's a long list of well-known people. No wonder Layla chose that school.
Maybe they chose her. You ever consider that?
Is that what they do? They draft people?
I think they should.
Well, my mom worked there, so I got a discount.
Okay, well, that works. Fly ball near the left field line. Krause comes over.
Layla, here's the deal. They got the discount.
So is it like when guys are drafted into the Army, you get a letter and welcome to North Texas State University? Or is it North Texas University now?
At the time I went there, it was the University of North Texas.
Okay.
I think the change happened in like 1990.
Okay.
But Bill Mercer is the original play-by-play guy who created all of the good play-by-play people since in the broadcast area.
He has been a terrific professional down through many, many years. Fun guy. Many terrific stories. And Layla, you might have heard, did you ever hear the stories about Bill Mercer when he was recreating minor league games from the ticker tape?
I did not, but one of his pieces of advice that he would give to students was to sit in the stands with a tape recorder and do play-by-play by yourself as if you're watching the game and really doing a broadcast.
Did you do that?
I did not. I got my experience with Denton Ryan football, actually.
Fly ball out to Crow in left center. All right, well, but you were working as a professional to get to that standard you were trying to reach.
Trying. There were some stumbles along the way.
Well, Bill Mercer told some stories about when he was recreating minor league games in the studio in the Dallas area. Chris Iannetta, the batter, has a homer and an RBI single in 3 trips. And what they would do was take a tape recorder out to Turnpike Stadium and get the sound effects noises that they would then be playing behind their games all season long. So there was a major league exhibition game, and they went out and did tapes of the entire game. And so they would catalog the tapes, and they would say, okay, here's the crowd noise on a home run. Here's the crowd noise on a double. And so on down the line. And then they played those crowd noise tapes behind their play-by-play all year long. And finally somebody called them in July, and they were on the road. Well, they were in the studio, but the game was being played in some place like Amarillo, we'll say. And somebody called and said, hey, I'm at the game in Amarillo. We have 200 people here. You're making it sound like it's a full house. And they would get the train schedules. And if a train came by the stadium in Amarillo, we'll say at 3:02 p.m., at 3:02 p.m., they would play a train whistle.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Wallace comes in for it. It's a fair ball, and Brett takes it to first base for out number 3.
The train just came by.
Well, train's here. It's time to go. It's Angels 5, Astros 2.
from Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, or New Mexico, CSN Houston covers the entire 5-state region, and we want your story ideas. Email us your ideas at regionalroundup@comcastsportsnet.com. I wonder if we'll get any more trains, Bill and Alan.
Oh, well, we need to work on that.
Only when they're scheduled.
We have to check our schedules very, very carefully here, as these folks have done. Well, of course, Union Station out there used to be the longtime train station for much of Houston. For over 100 years, the trains came through this area. Now, Dane De La Rosa has come out of the bullpen. Michael Kahn went 1 inning. He allowed 2 hits, no runs, and no walks and 1 strikeout. De La Rosa is 6-1. His ERA is 3.07.
There's some good opposition batting averages against these guys coming out of bullpens these days. Throw hard and typically have one pitch that'll eat guys up. Left-hand hitters getting eaten up. 202 is that batting average.
Brett Wallace, who hit the 2-run homer in the 4th inning for both the Astros runs, is 1 for 3. Wallace takes ball 1 from De La Rosa, who's 30 years old. Dane was drafted by the Yankees in 2002 in the 24th round. He's from Torrance, California. High heat makes it 1-1. Fastball went on the board at 93 miles per hour. De La Rosa got a win against the Astros here on the 28th of June. A 4-2 ball game for the Angels. The Angels swept the Astros here in that series. The Astros also swept the Angels in Anaheim. Matt Dominguez on deck. Carlos Corcoran due up 3rd in the inning.
That was nasty looking. Likely a splitter to get that kind of sinking action.
De La Rosa pitched for 6 different independent teams in 3 different leagues from 05 through 09.
That is phenomenal.
Isn't it, though?
Love that kind of perseverance.
Well, you know, we have something of an oddity here because you managed an independent team, and a guy in the booth next door was one of your coaches.
Yep. Broadcasting for the Angels, Vic Rojas. Yeah, we were paired up the first year down in the Texas-Louisiana League down in Harlingen, the Rio Grande Valley White Wings. Sitting here doing Major League ball games.
Did you guys have a broadcaster doing your games?
No, I don't believe we did. There's Vic on the right.
Mark Gubicza's on the left, former Major League pitcher, and a very good one. He's kind of grooving with the music here.
Getting down with his bad self.
Well, maybe Macy Levi could come up to their booth.
You know, Vic did some first base work, probably outfield, pitched a bit and caught for me.
Wow.
So he was a versatile pre-broadcaster.
You know what you could have done, now that we think back on it many years later, is put a mic on Vic, and he could have done the broadcasting while he was coaching for you.
We could have shared duties. Yeah. Little did I know.
Wallace down on strikes. Wouldn't that have been the most unusual play-by-play and analyst combination in history?
Manager from the dugout, or maybe coaching down at third base, and the catcher or pitcher out there. And
that's some instant analysis there.
Now you might be overstating things.
How about Mike Scioscia's career? He's had a long run with the Angels now, and there have been stories written about the future of Mike Scioscia. General manager Jerry DiPoto with the Angels. What's going on there? The owner, Artie Moreno, has said he'll review it after the season. He might do nothing.
I don't think Mike knows what the outcome is going to be. From what I'm hearing, that cannot be a comfy spot.
Well, last year, they finished 89 and 73, 5 games out of first place, in third. What torpedoed them this year was April 9-17 and July 9-15.
It's kind of a comeback scenario, though. Last year, it wasn't like they were in the race, in that hunt all season long. They battled their way back, and when it was all said and done, looked like they had a pretty solid season.
In the playoffs, Quad Cities leading South Bend 4-0 in the bottom of the sixth. At Quad Cities, trying to clinch a championship in the Midwest League. Foul back, and Real Reese has hit a homer. He's really been one of those strong hitters during the playoff run of Quad Cities, the River Bandits.
Yeah, I found it really intriguing to watch what's gone on with these minor league clubs and the guys who wind up being today's star. It's not necessarily yesterday's star, and it's a different name continually.
Roller and the first baseman Trumbo tosses to De La Rosa for out number 2. Carlos Corcoran will bat next. A young pitcher who came from the Baltimore organization, Josh Hader, has pitched 6 shutout innings for Quad Cities tonight. No walks, 7 strikeouts, 3 hits allowed. Acquired in the Bud Norris deal. Corp is 0 for 3, but made a bid for a pop fly hit into left field, and Andrew Romine made a spectacular catch on it. Fouls it back. There's strike 1. Quad Cities could bring the Astros farm system a second championship this year. When you think about all the managers, coaches, field staff people, or coordinators who come through all the different cities who contribute to these championships, it involves a lot of folks. People in the front office here who coordinate things. 1 ball, 1 strike. Usually they have a dinner for those minor league clubs the next spring and hand out the rings. And that's a special time for the organization.
It means a lot to the guys.
Think of how many people play a sport and never are on a championship team. Many.
When you're playing on one of those clubs, you're not thinking, well, we're just a minor league club. Yeah, it's a group of guys you're battling with all season long, and those wins are tough to come by. You're playing against other clubs that are the same makeup.
Green is there. Over to Trumbo to make it a 1-2-3 8th inning. Moving to the 9th, it's 5-2 Angels. Bid a Sunday afternoon farewell to the Halos for 2013. Astros pregame live gets started at 12:30 only on Comcast Sports Net.
And And now let's take a look at tomorrow's pitching matchups. Brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. These matchups have Jerome Williams, veteran right-hander on the hill for the Angels, 7-10. Batting average against him, 271. Paul Clemens goes to the hill for the Astros, 4-4, 591. Trying to settle in that starting rotation. Paul Clemens has good stuff, trying to make it work and find his way into the rotation.
David Martinez has pitched 2 innings in relief of Brett Oberholzer tonight. Now the 9th inning comes around for Martinez. And Grant Green will lead it off. Green doubled in the 7th inning and scored on a pass ball. He's 1 for 3. It's in the air to right center, and a long run here for Trevor Crowe. That one splits the gap, goes off the wall. Extra bases, and in fact it's going to be a triple for Green. First triple of the year for Green. He now has a double and a triple in the 7th and 9th innings.
Well, those last couple of at-bats for Grant Green have looked really good going the other way. Shot a double down the right field side in the 7th inning. And now this drive to right center field. Very impressive.
He was a first-round pick in 2009 by Oakland.
Staying with the baseball, driving it the other way. Yeah, that's nice and short. Good pop.
That brings in the infield for Andrew Romine. Romine is 1 for 2 with a sac bunt. Hit number 9 for the Halos. Pitch out, no squeeze on. It's ball 1.
5-2 lead, no outs in the 9th inning after the leadoff triple. I don't know.
Well, sometimes if a team is thinking about squeezing, it will be enticed to put that play on after a pitch out.
Kind of opens the door.
Two balls, no strikes. Phillies and the Nationals are in the bottom of the 8th inning. 5-4 Phillies. Indians 8, White Sox nothing. Bottom of the 9th in Chicago. Braves lead the Padres 2-1 in the middle of the 9th inning. Now it's 3-0. That's the final now. The Braves beat the Padres 2-1. Chris Medlin going to 14-12 with a win over Robbie Erlin. Freddie Freeman hit his 21st homer. Chase Headley number 12 for San Diego. And that's a walk to Romine. 1st and 3rd, nobody out now for the Angels. That's the 2nd walk for Martinez. Number 4 for Astros pitching tonight. J.B. Shuck strides toward the batter's box. He's 2 for 4.
I think right now is where you put that infield kind of halfway, where you can get an out at the plate or you can get the double play when presented with the opportunity.
Shuck is taking his signs from Dino Ebel, the third base coach.
Carlos Corporon signs telling the infielders what he's going to do if the runner from first takes off.
Villar and Gonzalez are communicating with each other. Mets lead the Marlins in New York 3-1. They're in the top of the 8th inning. Oakland beat Texas today 1-0. Boston Red Sox beat the Yankees 5-1. Fly ball out to center field. Crowe moving for it. Here's the tag at 3rd by Green. And the tag at 2nd as well. The throw comes into second base. And it's now 6-2. Romine tagged at 1st. Not at 2nd. Sacrifice fly for Shuck. His 39th run batted in.
That's one where you can air out that throw to a cutoff man behind the mound. And you might get a guy not going from third base. Just always make sure you hit the cutoff man.
behind at first. One out for Eric Ibar now. And it's a 4-run lead. Ibar is 0 for 4. Mariners lead at St. Louis. It's 4-1 at the top of the 9th inning. Kendrys Morales hit his 22nd home run. That's ball 1. So with the Cardinals down by 3 in the 9th inning, the other teams in the NL Central rooting hard against St. Louis. The Reds have already won their game 7-3. Pirates have won their game 2-1 over the Cubs. Garrett Cole winning his 8th. Beating James Russell. It's 2 balls, no strikes to Ibar. Marlon Byrd his 23rd home run. It's been a nice acquisition for the Buccos. Jose Tabata number 5, and Mark Melanson got his 15th save. So it's the Buccos and the Cardinals and the Reds all bunched together. It should be a fun final 2 weeks of the season. That's ball 3. Pittsburgh will be in a first place tie again if St. Louis loses that game.
37-5 attendance in Pittsburgh today. So nice to see that this time of year.
That place is rocking right now.
They played in 2.5 hours. That says good baseball is being played here.
Is that the sign they hang outside the stadium?
It certainly could be a sign, and it would be valid.
3-1. Kind of like clean rooms on a motel or something.
Do you ever believe those? If they have to tell me their rooms are clean.
Good point. They're in a rain delay in Minnesota. The Rays lead the Twins 4-0. They're in the 4th inning. That's a long night in a pennant race. They'll wait forever to get that in. There's a walk to Ibar. That's 3 of those for Martinez. And Corp goes out to try to get the young right-hander through this inning without having to go to the bullpen again. Day game coming tomorrow. Paul Clemens starting. And Bo Porter would love to have Martinez get through this 9th inning here, not have to use anybody else, but he does have a right-hander warming up. Ryder Cruz. Mike Trout's 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. Giants lead the Dodgers 7-1 in the 2nd inning. Tim Lincecum has been handed this big lead. The Giants and Dodgers have had that fierce rivalry many years. Strike. So even though the Giants are really out of it, they're in last place, 19.5 behind the Dodgers. They'll give it everything to beat that club. Ricky Nolasco was knocked out in the 2nd inning. Gave up 7 runs, 5 of them earned in 1 1/3. Martinez gets that one in the zone and is ahead in the count 0-2 on Mike Trout. Hunter Pence has driven in 3 tonight for the Giants. He has 85 runs batted in this year, and he's headed for free agency. He should get a nice contract with somebody.
Just don't ever let them see his practice swing.
That's strikeout looking. Great time for that for Martinez for out number 2.
That's an unusual at bat for Mike Trout.
Sure is.
And he has yet to pick up a hit here in this series. I don't know if Mike trying to play that out, that he thought that was high, but it's pretty much right down the middle. Hanger.
Trout walked 3 times last night. He's walked twice tonight. Mark Trumbo is the batter. Fouls it back, strike 1. Trumbo's 0 for 3 with a walk himself. So Homer Bailey pitched tonight for the Reds. That'll rule him out of that series when they come in here. He could be pitching very close to home in LaGrange, but that won't be his turn.
Got to be a ZZ Top song somewhere in there.
Half of LaGrange usually comes over when Homer pitches at Minute Maid Park. There's another of our musical trendsetters, ZZ Top.
Yeah.
We kind of dropped the ball on that, didn't we, Ash?
I think you did.
You nailed it, pal.
Did he drop the ball, though?
No.
Somebody's got to make the plays.
It's going to require a lot of research to come up with these trend-setting musical groups during our lifetimes.
Were the Rolling Stones in that category?
Yep. Little foul pop. Dominguez over. Dominguez will not be able to get there. 1-2. Yeah, the Stones were there.
Or did they just follow in the coattails of the Beatles?
That also. Hey, how about Paul Anka?
Now there's a trendsetter for you.
Layla would have no idea who he is.
It brought a wave of similar music.
It really did.
Should say he did.
Perry Como. Oh, you're going the reverse now. You're trying to give an individual a band's name.
Well, I'm trying to accurately attribute trendsetters.
Well, we need to put Van Halen in the mix, right?
Of course we do. He changed guitar, as did Jimi Hendrix.
He changed your life.
That's possibly true.
Fly ball to center field. Crow is waiting to end the top of the ninth inning. And the Halos tack on a run on one hit. They leave two, and they're up 6-2. West Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Jack in the Box. Go big at participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken sandwich combos for only $3.99 plus tax. Pitcher number 4 comes in from the bullpen for the Halos. He is J.C. Gutierrez. The Angels lead the Astros 6-2. They've out-hit Houston 9-8. And they have a Chris Iannetta homer, his 11th of the year. The Astros have a Brett Wallace home run. But they have been stopped by Jared Weaver, Michael Kahn, Dane De La Rosa so far. Held to just 2 runs through the first 8. And now here's Colin Cowgill checking into left field, replacing J.B. Shuck there. Cowgill in left, and on the mound, the 30-year-old right-hander from Venezuela, Juan Gutierrez.
Pitched in last night's game and worked a scoreless inning, striking out a man. Numbers would indicate that he has been gettable. 5 home runs. The Astros would love to add to here in this inning.
They have some work to do if they're to win this one. They've won 4 in a row, scoring 34 runs in those 4 games. But tonight a different story offensively as those young ladies have donned the mustaches. They have seen an Astro club which scored only in the 4th inning on the 2-run homer by Wallace.
What is this in reference to?
Not too sure about that. We'll check into it.
Homer stashes.
That could work. Mark Krause is 0 for 3. Paredes and Gonzalez to follow for Bull Porter in the bottom of the 9th inning against J.C. Gutierrez. Or is he back to Juan now?
I was going to ask you. I can't remember which way we're going here.
Well, we get confused because players change how they want to be known, and sometimes it's Juan, sometimes it's J.C. And it's been both for him. I think he changed at Kansas City. He went to J.C. No balls, 2 strikes.
I think he's Juan Carlos.
Is that what it is?
Not a clue. I think he should be Juan Carlos.
The way you're saying that, it kind of makes us think that he's the most interesting man in the world.
He could be if he would go with that name.
Yeah. The Astros gave him his start in professional baseball, signing him as a free agent in 2000. Traded him to Arizona after the 07 season and the Jose Valverde deal. And he strikes out Krause. 1 out.
Juan Carlos has some pretty good high cheddar.
Yes, he does. Strikeout number 8 for Angels pitching tonight. Jimmy Paredes next, and he is 0 for 3. The Indians polished off the White Sox 8-1 at U.S. Cellular. Ubaldo Jimenez taking his record to 12-9, beating Andre Rienzo, who's 2-2. So the Tribe is 80-68. Still in the thick of it in the wild card in the American League.
How about that Terry Francona?
That's been quite a rebound for that Indians franchise this year. They made a whole lot of changes, including Francona and several players, and it's worked out quite well for them. They were a game and a half out of the wild card lead coming into tonight. Foul back. No balls, 2 strikes. Do you suppose the Rangers could actually miss out on the playoffs?
I think it's a likelihood at this point.
Wow.
Where they've been playing.
Wouldn't that be something?
Really stunning. I thought early on in the season the Texas Rangers were among my couple of maybe best teams in baseball.
Yeah. Slowly hit the shortstop. Ibar barehanding, throwing, and not in time. Infield hit for Jimmy Paredes. Hit number 9 for the Astros.
When you can run, take advantage of it. Ground balls on the left side are a great way to take advantage. Jimmy can be quite a free swinger, especially batting left-handed. But learning to put it on the ground to the left side could do a world of difference for him.
Now Marwin Gonzalez is 2 for 3 in this game. Tampa Bay is still in that rain delay, leading 4-0 at Minnesota. They're in the bottom of the 4th inning. You can bet they'll get an official game out of that. Runner taking off without a play on Jimmy. He moves into second base.
Really surprised at the Angels allowing Jimmy Paredes to take second and run out of the double play possibility.
Yep. Fielder's indifference. They did not attempt to hold him on or make a play on him.
For me, that double play where you can get out right here and now is so valuable.
Jonathan Villar's on deck as ball 2 comes in to Gonzalez. 2-0 to Marwin. Phillies are batting in the top of the 9th, leading the Nationals 5-4. An Atlanta club won its 89th of the year tonight. Best record in the National League still up for grabs.
Anybody going to get to 100?
Doesn't look like it.
Slim chances.
Boston would be the best bet with 91 wins. But once Boston clinches, Red Sox will probably rest some people. And they're pretty far ahead in the race for the best record in the American League, so they would be on track to do that the last week of the season if things continue at their present pace.
Really didn't see this coming for the Red Sox this year after getting rid of Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of the heart and soul along with Big Papi on that ball club and what the offensive possibilities were. Great defensive player. But Adrian and others, Carl Crawford, go over to the Dodgers. They turn it on after a very slow start, and somehow the Red Sox found it again.
They sure did. Well, they cleared a lot of payroll space.
Josh Beckett in that big contract.
And he's been hurt almost all year for the Dodgers. In the dirt. Gonzalez takes it, and it's a full count to Marwin.
I always wonder how much managers play into a team's success or lack thereof. John Farrell goes from Toronto over to Boston, and they play well. John Farrell couldn't get the Blue Jays to become one of those teams to contend. And a lot of anger in Toronto about Farrell's decision to move on to Toronto, or rather to Boston. Terry Francona goes to the Indians, and they turn around and become a club.
Out to right center field. Calhoun moving over for it. Calhoun with the catch. Paredes will hold on. 2 outs.
Stay tuned for Postgame Live presented by MD Anderson, making cancer history.
Kevin Eschenfelder back on the pre and post game crew tonight.
He's a busy man, isn't he?
He can bounce back and forth from sport to sport.
Can step in and do ball games from spring training when guys haphazardly break ribs or something like that.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
Jonathan VR is 1 for 4. The year started very badly for you.
It was rough.
There's strike one.
It was a classic painful beginning of the season.
Next year we're going to put you in a rubber room.
Next year we may not hang out for the entire spring down there. And employ a rubber room.
Maybe you should stay in a fishing camp next year.
Oh, there's too many hooks around there.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Fishing camp. Sometimes I wonder where your mind is playing around. Where are you hanging out?
It's trying to get something very pastoral for you. Slow the pace down a little bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, golf always works for me, Brown. No, well,
that's,
you know, it depends how you define works for me, but yeah. I'm cool with it is what I'm trying to say. Not always cool with me.
Angels trying to square this series, send it to a rubber game tomorrow. Jerome Williams will pitch for the Angels tomorrow. And Paul Clemens will be on the mound for the Astros. That's a swing and a miss by VR, and that's the ball game. Gutierrez takes care of the final 3 outs. Mike Scioscia's club winning for the 71st time this year. Final score, the Angels 6, the Astros 2.